Alrighty. Finally back. So let's get going, what? I'm gonna farm for a little bit, and I'm gonna do a little bit of tempering. Masterworking. But I gotta save some of my masterworking materials. Right, and now it's even public. Extremely good. So I really don't like the state of the current sorceress, I have to say. It's like more glass cannon than ever. There's like literally no way to get any kind of damage reduction, no matter how hard you're gonna try. The boss is gonna start one-shotting you at like the tier 70s if you build like very high damage reduction. So it's just pointless basically. Like it's not even sinkable to get like enough damage reduction for like the very high tiers. Like the only way would be getting like Temerity and Endarials and getting like crazy life leech or stuff like that. But you know, in the end, you're just not gonna do enough damage. So like what's the point of needing extreme survivability to avoid one-shot mechanics if you have to sacrifice half of your damage for it? So it's just not gonna work like the way it's designed. I don't know if they do it on purpose, but they keep like over-tuning those bosses, and I think it's like a terrible decision. I don't even get the point. Like, what's the point to make the dungeon like extremely easy and then put like a totally annoying, completely over-tuned boss at the end? It's just... it should be even. Like, the dungeon should be difficult and the boss should be difficult, but they should be equal difficulty. And not, like, give me like a 1-minute dungeon and then give me like a boss which has like a gazillion hit points, which requires me to play Barb, basically. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I always... this is like the most annoying boss because, you know, I always go in there and then I eat this, whatever it is, poison breath, and I instantly die. And it literally like happens to me every single time, and then I die and then I restart and just dodge it. So basically, you see what I do, I just face tank the boss and stagger it, and when the shadow clone spawns, I just press flame shield, and I can do this 3 times in a row, and then the boss is gonna be dead. It's pretty like stupid, but you know, if they want me to play like this, fine. Because, you know, at least like this, I don't have to play these shadow clone mechanics, and I really can't deal with it. So if you do it like this way, it's like pretty easy. My stagger is still like a little bit too slow. So I need a little bit more stagger. And then I could basically completely ignore the mechanics. I have no clue what other guides are saying, but you know, supposedly Verse Mastery might be bugged. But I haven't tested this, and I don't give a lot of, you know, if people say something is bugged, most of the time it's actually not true. But they say the damage of Verse Mastery is actually bugged, so it gives you like damage reduction and damage to close. If that's true, you would probably switch from Avalanche to Verse Mastery. But I haven't tested it yet, so it might be true, it might not be true. That's the season... Well, the armor pieces are the season 3 premium battle pass thingy. And I think the helmet and the stuff are season 2. At least I'm thinking. So it's definitely not one set, it's different. But the armor pieces are season 3 and they actually look pretty good, but I just don't like the helmet of the season 3 set. It like, I don't know, I don't like this whole mechanic style, whatever. But the armor looks pretty cool. Well, I did the Blizzard Sorc, but the Blizzard Sorc is too slow to farm. So this one is way faster for farming. And I might advance the Blizzard Sorc, but we'll probably like revisit it in like a week or maybe 2 weeks. I want to try all the builds to see which one, you know, has the most potential of pushing before they basically nerf. I think they're gonna nerf the bosses. Can't be sure about that, but you know, I think there's a potential that they're gonna reduce the boss HP. And then this build is gonna be super viable. But so far, like, you have to take it takes like a crazy amount of time to masterwork one single set of gear. Like, it probably takes like 50 hours of farming to masterwork one set of gear. And so... Wait, what? Something is wrong here. I don't know what I just screwed up. Anyway, let's go. So basically same story. Wait for the Shadow Clone. Press Flame Shield. Keep nuking the guy. Repeat. Wait for the next Shadow Clone. There he is. Flame Shield. Repeat. Kill. And so you can completely skip the Shadow Clone if you have a little bit more stagger. I'm like almost there, but not just yet. I mean, Frozen Orb is faster. It's just faster for farming, but Blizzard definitely has more boss damage. So if you had it like a 12 out of 12 masterwork gear with perfect stats, Blizzard will probably give you like 10 more levels or something like that, I would say. When I have this stuff I want to masterwork. It's a little bit worse than mine though. From the chance of Frozen Orb. This one is the middle, and this one is... Oh yeah, it's like much worse actually. But, you know, I want to try it. Yeah, I only pick up greater affix loot. I don't need the other stuff. So basically at this point what I'm looking for is rings with greater affix attack speed, gloves with greater affix attack speed, stuff with greater affix intelligence or greater affix damage, and, you know, armor pieces are all greater affix intelligence, and I still don't have those. So you can get a lot more damage. I think you can. I could still like triple the damage of this build with just masterworking and having greater affixes in the right spots. No, my build guides. Which build guide is wrong? I think I updated most of them. Some are old, but some are updated. I think I still have a strong spec here. Now, vulnerable comes from Lightning Spear. Lightning Spear basically makes everything vulnerable. So that's pretty convenient. So the Fractured Winterglass Amulet is gonna spawn the Lightning Spears, and the Lightning Spears are gonna take care of the vulnerable for you, so that's pretty convenient. Still wonder if it's like faster to just go down to like tier 65. I feel like the material scaling in the pit doesn't really make all that much sense. That, you know, every level of pit just gives you 1 extra material. And I think it should be like 2. Because it's really not so rewarding to like get into higher levels of the pit. But at the very beginning in the boss fights, you have to be like a little bit... oh god, that was a big mistake there. It's annoying. So yeah, you have to be like a little bit on top of your timings there. Because if you mess it up, bad things are gonna happen. This is like the most annoying shadow clone. I hate that one. What? So there's really like some things which are really annoying. Like this shadow clone, for example, like the 3 attacks take pretty much exactly the same time than my flame shield. And you know, it would be okay if he just would be doing these 3 attacks, but after those 3 attacks, he's doing this annoying blood puddles on the ground. So this is like really the most annoying one of them. And you basically have to dodge it, even though if you like a flame shield. You completely can't deal with that guy. Just so hard to see these. There, I like panicked my flame shield again, so I have to run and dodge now. So that's really like... There's like some combinations of bosses and those shadow clones which are like really annoying. And I'm playing like the absolute glass cannon build, right? So I cannot take any hit of these. I'm gonna be instantly dead. And then there's like also bosses which have like more HP, like this one here. Like there's really combinations which I don't get. Like sometimes I just can't like complete it, and then I, you know, enter it again and I can basically instantly kill it. And I don't really understand like the whole reasoning behind it. It's like so much RNG. But like, even if you build, like, full defensive at this stage, you can survive it, but it's not guaranteed. See, this time I'm doing just fine. Not sure what the actual difference is there. Note that this boss is like super annoying because it has like so much HP. But yeah, it's like... I cannot tell you if this is the best Sorcerer build, because to judge that, I would have to play every single one of them. But yeah, the one-shot shadow clones is just like so annoying. I like hate that. And, you know, they said they reduced the damage of them. I don't think that's true, actually. Because even if, you know, because I'm playing Topaz, right? So I'm playing stupid glass cannon. I only have like 16k life. But it doesn't really matter. Even if I play damage reduction and, you know, 25k life, you know, yes, I can survive a hit of those. But on the flip side, it's going to be much more common that I have to fight 2 or 3 of those shadow clones. And it's not going to matter in the end. And some just one-shot you anyway. So it also depends a little bit. But yeah, so... I honestly think the highest pushing build for this currently would either be Blizzard, or maybe Fireball, or maybe Ball Lightning. Fireball is the next build I want to test. Because I think that has a lot of potential because of the attack speed. So in general, just like with the attack speed problem on Sorc right now, because, you know, focus and weapon cannot roll attack speed, you literally have no access to 100% attack speed other than, you know, having perfect gear or playing Ancient Flame. And if you play Fire, you know, it's not a big deal playing Ancient Flame because you're gonna play Asus Ferocity anyway. And that's the big advantage of the Fire builds. Yeah, Firebolt Immortal is, you can probably get to like even higher. But the thing is, if I test Fireball, I can just go into Firebolt because I literally just have to exchange the weapons. But I don't know how high it actually scales. Didn't test that. But yeah, it's like exactly like that, right? You're immortal, so you can push like Glass Cannon. Because as soon as you start building defenses, honestly, on Sorc, like it's just not gonna be a good decision. Like if you want to farm lower levels, like tier 61, which is a good farming level, you can definitely build defenses, and it definitely helps you staying alive. Like you can just build a life leech build and face tank the bosses and everything. It's like super easy. But if you want to push into higher tiers, like there's no point in building defenses on Sorc. You're just gonna be one shot, no matter how many defenses you build. So that's really sad story, but you know. It is like it is. Like Sorc is like the lowest tier of all classes, and it has always been. There was just one exception where they had bugged Ball Lightning. But in general, like all other classes have like these overpower mechanics, and they all have like unlimited Paragon nodes, which are like, you know, giving them 1000% X. Oh my god. This was 1000% multiplicative damage. And well, yeah, all Sorc Paragon nodes are basically kept at 30%, and I have no clue why that is. Because, you know, all the other classes' Paragon nodes are not capped. But, you know, I just don't understand it. But that removes basically the potential from Sorc to be, like, extremely high DPS. This is, by the way, the easiest clone. So, and as you can see, like, with the staggering, like, the second clone doesn't spawn. Well, there's no real mana problem in the later stages of these builds. It is basically just the Frozen Orb, which restores like mana on every hit. And besides that, it's really just the resource generation from the gear and from the Conjuration Mastery. That's not seasonal. I play on Eternal Realm because I'm like smart. Look, I have no clue why everybody is playing Seasonal Realm. Like literally everybody is playing Seasonal, and I have no clue why. There's like literally nothing on Seasonal which is not on Eternal other than the Elixir of Holy Bolts. That's the only thing which is like game changing on the Seasonal Realm. Everything else is exactly the same in Eternal. And you know, in Eternal I have everything I want, so I don't see a point like even going on Seasonal. Maybe they add like something mid-season, but if they really do that, you know, I can just level a tune on Seasonal. But for me, like, you know, it's way better to figure out the builds and everything because I basically have infinite resources. Yeah, okay, I mean, yes, I can play the bugged Holy Bolt Elixir, but I think it's just bugged on Necromancer, right? It's not, like, bugged in general. So... And besides that, you know, honestly, I don't care. Because, you know, the dungeon phase of these pits doesn't matter at all, so... What do I need the Holy Bolt Elixir for? Like, I can take everything out in, like, seconds. And only the boss is gonna be the problem, so... What would I need that Elixir for? So really, like, that's... I really think they should have done something mid-season, and in the beginning of the season, at least some extra tempering recipes or something like that. You don't even have like faster progression through crafting materials, right? So The only thing you get is like extra glyph XP and stuff like that, but you don't even get more drops from, you know, farming the pits or anything. Like, it's everything is exactly the same than in Eternal. So I feel like they should have made something to do something against that. Because, you know, now all the people are playing seasonal and they're complaining that they don't have enough gold and everything, and you know they're gonna fix that probably, but you know I don't have all these problems because I just didn't start it in the first place. Oh nice, I have a shrine. Oh, that was too early. Oh, no matter what. I also hate that you have to dash like every 5 seconds to get the Asus buff. Like really, really annoying. Wait, what? There's a second one? Why did the second one just spawn? And it's also the invisible tornado dude. It's like the worst one. Yeah, you get the sparks, exactly. But what I don't need the sparks because I have the Uber uniques from the past seasons anyway, so... I just salvaged some and make myself this new Shako, which I completely... Like, I was so brain dead masterworking this. I wasted so much materials masterworking this, and I, like, literally have the worst roll on it, so I have to redo it. But I don't even know why I did it. It was, like, just stupid. Yeah, I mean, I tried Lilith with this build, and, you know, it takes forever. You have to play all the mechanics. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's like a fun fight, but I didn't finish it yet. I just want to, like, squeeze out a little bit more damage before I finish it, because it was, like, really taking, like, 4 minutes or something like that for me to finish phase 1. So it takes really, really long. Which build is better? I think they're different. So I think Blizzard definitely pushes higher and does more damage. And Frozen Orb is faster. My mana regeneration is just... let me just check. Yeah, it's correct. My mana regeneration is basically just Conjuration Mastery. You get like 12% mana regeneration per Conjuration. So you get 120%, and then you have +6 mana regeneration on one of your gear pieces. So what basically happens is you have a base mana regen of 20 with this +6 affix here, right? And then you get like a 120% X. So it gets up to like, I don't know, even like... I can check in the dungeon how high it gets. I think it gets to like, you know, 50 or 60 per second or something like that. And the rest of it is really just, you know, you have some avalanche, there's some more synergies in between. But mostly it comes from Conjuration Mastery, really the increased regeneration rate. I don't think Frozen... well, Frozen Orb might be able to go to tier 100. I cannot tell you because I am not there yet. Yeah, okay, if you're on console, I guess you're screwed. Like, I really think you cannot play this on console. But I think like console is nothing for like high tier pushing anyway. So I guess console is more like, you know, you're chilling on the couch, you're like, you know, farming your resources, yeah, like you're relaxing. But I don't think console is for like high tier pushing. I think that's just like, in general, I think you need the precision of like mouse and keyboard. I don't think you can do it on a console. There's absolutely no point on the poison damage stat on the stuff in the Blizzard build. You know, you have the potential of going into Tal Rasha Ring, but I don't think it's... I mean, if you have the poison damage, you get 4 stacks, so the Tal Rasha Ring will actually give you 60% damage. And that might be slightly more than... it might be slightly more than having a regular ring. That was, like, not cool. But really, I think in the end, you know, all Sorc uniques are like useless. I think Tal Rasha Ring is useless. It has a slight edge over a regular ring if you really can get the 4 stack. So in Blizzard, because you don't even need the weapon temper, like you can potentially do it, but I still think it falls behind the attack speed. That was so stupid. I think it still falls behind the attack speed and the intelligence on a ring. It is just the nature of intelligence being such a strong modifier now. And Tarasha doesn't have it. Yes, it has, obviously it has the cooldown reduction, but for the Blizzard build, the cooldown reduction doesn't matter. For this build, it would be much better to have it, but the tempering also is like so extremely strong. So if you can temper 100% additive damage, that's like another 10% damage, depending on, you know, how much additive damage you have. So if you take the intelligence, let's say it's like 150, right, and the 10% additive, you add like 25% plus an aspect is 55% compared to a Tarasha ring. And on top of that, you get attack speed, you get a resource temper, which can be very useful, and you also get the critical strike chance. On the Tarasha ring, you get lucky hit, cooldown reduction, and resource generation. You know, which are nice stats. Don't get me wrong, but they just like far behind the stats on the normal rings. So that's why I think the problem is they nerfed it, so they reduced it to 4 stacks, right? So before you could play Wand and Focus and use your Tarasha ring and get 5 stacks, and then it would be good again. But with 4 stacks, I don't see it. This boss is pretty easy, by the way. Oh, where does this guy come from? I don't know, honestly, because I didn't try it. But Ball Lightning could be strong. I think Ball Lightning and Fireball will both be strong. Ring of Starless Skies definitely helps with mana management if you have issues. I just felt like getting the mana regeneration on gear is just much easier and does the same effect. And Ring of Starless Skies from the stats is just worse again than a regular ring with tempers. Because a regular ring with tempering gives you roughly like 60% damage and Starless Skies just give you 40. But yeah, okay, it is good to fix resource if you have it. I mean, nothing wrong about that. But I just feel like in general, it also falls short once you fix resource, obviously. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty close, right? Don't get me wrong. Like, 4 Tarasha stacks versus a legendary ring is pretty close. You know, I think they're damage-wise, they're probably at a little bit close. Like, they're probably close together damage-wise, but I just prefer to have the attack speed from the ring. And if you get into higher masterworking, obviously, like, let's talk perfect gear, right? So let's say we have perfect gear, and you have 3 greater affixes, or 2 greater affixes on your ring. Let's say you have intelligence and attack speed greater affixes, right? So if you have Tarasha ring, you know, the only greater affix which actually does something you could get is cooldown reduction. And honestly, if your build needs cooldown reduction, you know, it's great. But most builds actually don't even need the cooldown reduction. And other than that, you cannot hit any greater affixes on Tarasha ring. Because everything else, well, yeah, sure, you can get lucky hit chance, sure, you can get resource generation, sure, you get like the little bit of non-physical damage, but those are all like garbage. And the greater affix is on attack speed, like it's 5% attack speed. The greater affix on crit, it's like 4% crit. Greater affix on intelligence, like 50 intelligence, it's like 5% damage right there. And it's just so much stronger. That's just the issue I have with the stats on the old unique items. The stats are just, compared to the new ones, bad. I mean, I was very worried because, well, actually not worried, but like on the PTR, the stats were like so much higher, right? And now they basically nerfed the stats like significantly. And with the state on the PTR, the uniques were even so much more behind. They were like, you know, miles and miles behind. Now they are just a little bit less behind, but they're still very far behind though. Just like, I just don't see these uniques. They have to be buffed. Like the thing is, they just need to give them intelligence, right? If you give the uniques intelligence, it's gonna be fine. But intelligence is such a strong modifier right now, and the uniques, they all don't have it. And if they have it, they have a low roll. For example, if you take like Raiment of the Infinite, it has like a 50 intelligence roll, while a regular item has like a 85 max or something like that. So it's a significant difference. And yeah. So, and yeah, again, like the thanks by the way. The most important thing is really attack speed, because Sorc like just has an attack speed problem now, and that is like really, I don't know, it's like very, very frustrating. On the other hand, it's a challenge to get to 100% attack speed with just 3 items, because like theoretically it's possible, but it will take a long time to grind it. So, in the boss fights, it takes like a little while to get going, because at the very beginning you don't have Conjurations up, and the mana regeneration is not there right away. So you just need to build up like Conjurations to get the mana regeneration up and going, running. That's like a little bit also what I don't like about this build. But yeah. You could fix that by putting Hydra on the bar instead of Unstable Currents. And I don't think that is actually so far behind. Whoa, what hotkey was that? I don't think it's so far behind putting Hydra on your bar, because it's gonna give you an extra 12% damage from the Conjuration Mastery. So this is what's not supposed to happen, like if it completely gets out of control. But you know, you can handle it. That's what I mean. If I just go like 5 levels like lower, it's gonna be significantly easier for me. But it's also like a little bit less materials, so. I don't know, so far my vote is Blizzard, honestly. I think Blizzard will be the strongest endgame. Let's temper this stuff. I have enough. I spent enough, got enough materials to temper this stuff. Let's just transmute some stuff here. Which one do we actually need? Wait, I need this. And I need this. I think. Yeah, I will. I will definitely. I will try all the builds this season. Since... Okay, where is it? Wait, do I have to reset it? No, it's still going, right? So, I want to hit, like, chance to Frozen Orb twice. That's basically my goal. And that's gonna take so much time. And that's what I hate about this tempering process, really. It's like, you should just be able to choose it. Like, make it more expensive, maybe. You know, give me like 10 times the cost and just choose it. And the second one, give me like 100 times the cost and let me choose it. But don't give me this, you know, I really don't like this process of having to redo it all the time. I don't know. I feel like it's just taking a lot of time for, you know, you will get the result in the end anyway. This is, by the way, not bad. But, you know, I'm gonna reset it. So here there's the 40%. So that's already more than mine. So let's see. So if I can hit this twice, I'm gonna be very happy. I think Fireball is gonna be good. I mean, it's the next build I'm gonna try. It's gonna be Fireball. So I don't think it's bad. So here's the thing, right? Now, I really have to reset it, but I can see myself spending every single resource I have, and I'm not gonna hit the mark. So at least the overpower damage, I mean, I am at 44.9, so I'm already like 5% higher than before. And I might just stay with this, because I think, you know, the chance for min-maxing will come, but right now it's just way too expensive. So I'm just gonna use this for now, honestly. This is better than my old one. So let's enchant this. So overpower damage. What do we want? We want vulnerable damage or vulnerable damage or vulnerable damage. So basically we want vulnerable damage. There you go, 70%. That's a good roll. That's alright. Let's take this. I'm good with this one. So another thing why it's great to play Eternal is, you know, you guys cannot socket your gems, right? So you want to see how many I can socket? I have like 936. Because in season 2 these were dropping from like regular salvages or something like that, so I have like a huge stockpile of those and I don't even need to worry. So yeah, that is pretty good actually, right? Damage to crowd control is alright, it's not the best, but you know, I'm not gonna risk it. So this has like, this is gonna give me like another 15% damage, I'd say. Does it already have Glacier? Nope. So let's put Glacier aspect on there. Right. Wait, did I just take the wrong one? Yeah. Stupid. Alright. So do I still have like yellow materials? So the other one is these ones here. I have to keep upgrading these regular ones here, which is pretty inexpensive. Because the lucky hit chance to stagger is gonna go up. And that's gonna stagger the bosses faster. So now I have like 46% against 39%. So I have a little bit more frozen orb. I just imagine if you get like a good roll on this and hit it twice, you can probably get like 70% chance to cast an extra frozen orb. And then, you know, as soon as I have enough stagger, I remove Frost Nova enchantment and I put in back Frozen Orb enchantment here, right? Maybe I can already try it if it works right now. Because, well, it works also for the Frost Nova enchantment. So the Frost Nova enchantment also casts double Frozen Orbs. The Frozen Orb enchantment also casts double Frozen Orb with the stuff. It doesn't work on the Fractured Winterglass though. So the Fractured Winterglass will only cast off your real casts. Let's just put it like this. So none of the extra casts will count for that. Let's see if my boss damage goes up now. Or if the stagger is too slow. But with the Frozen Orb enchantment, that's a lot more Frozen Orbs actually. But those Frozen Orb are not... Well, they're exactly as powerful, but they just don't spawn the Conjurations. Which is like super annoying. That's like such a big nerf to Sorcerers that they removed basically all the extra casts not triggering effects anymore, right? So that was like... One of the big strengths of Sorcerers was that all the extra casts were triggering effects. So for example, Unstable Currents casts would trigger like the Protection passive and give you Barrier. You know, Frozen Orb casts from the Frozen Orb enchantment would count for, you know, again, skills cast, they would count for the Fractured Winterglass. So they basically removed everything like that. Also, Chain Lightning enchantment, for example, the Chain Lightnings don't count for anything anymore. So really, it is like such a huge nerf they did, and I really hate it. I don't like the concept of nerfing those, because, you know, if I spend an enchantment slot to, you know, cast an extra frozen orb, then I feel like that frozen orb should be as powerful as my regular frozen orb, because that's why I invest in it. That's how the power scaling should work, right? If I can get 2 projectiles, then those 2 projectiles should also work the same way. The second projectile shouldn't be like a, you know, a nerfed version of the first projectile. That just doesn't make any sense. And in any other game, it's not like that, right? If you take whatever Pass of Exile and you get multiple projectiles, you know, every one of those multiple projectiles is going to behave exactly the same like the regular projectile. It's not like, you know, they just take random stuff out of those projectiles because they feel like it. Really hate that decision to do that. So let's see how the Stagger goes without... I mean, it's slower. I have to remove this map hotkey. I keep hitting this all the time. Okay, you shouldn't stay inside this boss, because apparently the clone spawns right in the middle of the boss and you cannot see it. Okay, let's try this again from like a little bit of a distance. It's not like he lets me like choose. I don't know, I don't feel really, like, I don't feel stronger. The stagger's like much slower. But I don't know where the shadow clone is. There he is. But then again, like, randomly, like, bosses have like crazy amounts of hit points. Like, this one has like 10 times the hit points like all the other bosses have, basically. I have no clue why. I don't know if that's like some kind of a hidden dungeon affix or something like that, because, you know, I can barely like even kill this one because it has like a zillion hit points. Maybe it has something to do with one of these shadow clones or so, I don't know. Maybe one of these is buffing the boss. Ah, come on. And now, this thing is, the boss damage is not weak. This boss just randomly has like 10 times the HP. It's some kind of a bug. If I go back in now and try again, it will have way less HP all of a sudden. I don't know why. It's really... I don't know if it's like a boss resistance thing or something like that. What? So, but that's this thing. Like, some bosses are just like trouble, and that's why you should like go down like a couple of tiers. But I also changed this skill, and it's not very good, I feel like. I feel like I have to go back to the faster stagger. Usually if you have like 3 stagger phases, you can get the boss down before like worse things happen. And as soon as you basically lose out on those stagger phases, like, you get into trouble. But as you can see, like, now the boss goes like down way faster than before. And I don't know what's causing that, honestly. Like, they just randomly seem to have more HP. Or maybe it's just like a feeling I have, I don't know. But it's super weird. Maybe it's something else I'm missing, I don't know. I mean, they still take long, obviously. So that's why I'm saying, like if you get to this like stage where stuff gets like out of hand, it's like very difficult. But you know, that's what I'm saying. Usually, like, it's no problem defeating the bosses fast enough, but sometimes they just randomly have more HP. And I know there's some bosses have a lot of HP, and some bosses have like less HP. But yeah. Well, T-Balls is complete garbage. Just remove that from your brain. It's like the worst item you can play, because it just gives you like a lousy 20% damage, while, you know, regular pants with 153 int already give you 15% damage, and, you know, T-Balls basically has no stats. So it's like probably like 20% less damage, plus less life, plus less armor, plus less utility. So like literally T-Balls is out of the game. I have no clue why it got nerfed. It shouldn't have been nerfed, then it would be fine. But it doesn't make any sense. Like if you know, if you say, okay, items get 150 to 200 intelligence now, so that's like 15 to 20% damage, then why do you nerf T-Balls down to the same damage amount? Like, because nobody's gonna use it, because it's just worse. I don't know if, like, again, I say defenses are not for Sorg. Like, doesn't matter how much defenses you build, you're gonna get one shot. So I don't see like any point in building defenses at all. It has always been like this, other than, you know, the low life builds, which could reach such a high damage reduction value that you could actually be defensive. Or like you can play Melted Heart, obviously, but, you know, Melted Heart again is an amulet slot, so it basically takes, you know, 100% of your damage away. So if you really want to play that, that's cool, but you're never going to push into high tiers with that. So I think the only option really is just a permanent flame shield there, which is left for building any kind of defenses, or even like playing this kind of build where, you know, you're relying on the mobs being crowd controlled all the time and never being able to hit you. Wait, what? Are you kidding? Oh my god. Okay, that explains it. Oh, well, yeah. That is so bad, actually. Like, I can't believe it. I wonder how I even killed this boss. Wow. That's like so... Well, maybe I'm just so good. I use ace... You mean the boots? You can use the boots, I say it in the guide. But I just don't use it in the very early guide, because the guide is made to be like a very early guide you can use directly when coming out of leveling. If you have Asus, obviously it's good. Like, Asus boots is basically the only Sorc unique which still is valid for playing. And obviously like Shako, but that's a different story. And then you have the build enabling uniques, which are at this point just the Winterglass and the what's it called? The gloves. So the gloves for the firebolt and the other gloves for the fireball. So all the other uniques are basically unusable at this point. Well, they're not unusable, but they're just like weak. I can't believe I can even beat this boss without the frozen orbit. That's insane. What is that boss doing? Nothing, right? Why did I put Glacial? That is this boss. I think is doing nothing. Like the one which just explodes like the bone prison walls or whatever. Oh, that is Lilith. So now it gets interesting. Now like everybody joined the party. So I mean, if I would be doing damage, like this would probably be like equal to like a tier 90 or something like that from the length of the boss fight. Can the list just go away, please? God damn it. Alright, let's put the correct aspect on. Well, honestly, T-Boards is never gonna manage your mana in any kind of high tier build. Because T-Boards can only regenerate your mana like once every couple of seconds, so that's actually not very strong. So a good build will always manage its own mana. So if you have to do like a certain action to fix your mana, your build is probably not going to be very good. So it's good for early game, but not for late game.
Bright aura. Brighter soul.
So I think stuff is the best for most sorceress builds now. It depends on the build. So if you have a build which is really craving for cooldown reduction, like for example, permanent flame shield, like, you know, or like firebolt, you want to have the highest possible attack speed and permanent flame shield, and you need the cooldown reduction. I think that's the only... I already fixed the aspect. Thank you very much. I know that. So the only reason for playing Wand and Focus, I feel like, is the cooldown reduction on Focus. But other than that, stuff is pretty much the best for every single build because you just have stronger stats. Like for example, for Frozen Orb, you can get the aspect with 100%, which is just so much stronger. And in general, the stuff can... It is easier to temper because you only need to temper one item, not two. And you know, tempering takes a long time to hit the correct affixes if you're min-maxing. Same goes with Masterworking. Masterworking one item is way less RNG than Masterworking two items. And I feel like it's a big factor. And since that, I mean, Lucky Hit, honestly, you can get Lucky Hit on your offhand, but it doesn't really matter if you ask me. Like, I don't know, I feel like Lucky Hit is something which is not really working anymore for Sorc at all. And I mean, there's like different ways to see it, but I just see like, especially for these two builds, like Blizzard, right? It's a no-brainer. You don't even have to ask because the aspect scales with weapon damage. So, who and a weapon gives you more base damage on that aspect, and it double dips basically with the 100% of the weapon. So for Blizzard, it's an absolute no-brainer. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Also, you don't have any benefit from Wand and Focus on the Blizzard build because you don't need cooldown reduction. So what you don't need cooldown reduction and you don't need lucky hits. So what's the benefit you get from the stats on your Focus? You can get like an extra 10% crit or something like that. But you know, that's usually not an issue in the Blizzard build. And for Frozen Orb here, it's the same story basically. Because the extra damage from the aspect here, so I can get my extra explosions to like 120% damage, right? And that is before all multipliers, so that's basically base skill damage. And oh, second here? Oh my god, that's the wrong boss. Alright. So that's basically base skill damage, which comes before all multipliers. So it's, for me at least, it's a no-brainer to put this aspect on my stuff. Because, you know, getting the base damage up is the strongest thing basically you can do there. I mean, the damage is like, it's significantly higher, obviously, with Frozen Orb enchantment. This build doesn't rely so much on a resource cost reduction, honestly. I mean, you have the resource... I rely more on resource generation. I think resource generation is way stronger because you have the plus regeneration, like this plus 6 mana per second, for example, becomes like it comes before all resource generation. And if you see, for example, my resource generation now is 21 mana, right? So if I cast like a Conjuration now, it goes up to 23. I cast a couple of Frozen Orb, you see it's 26, 31. And I cannot get so many Conjurations now because I'm not in a fight scenario, right? But now it's 36, and it goes up to like 100, basically, if you have 10 Conjurations up. So this is like a very good way of fixing mana. Like all the other ones are relying like on lucky hit to regenerate your mana, and I feel like that's like terrible because you know you just gonna get starved some time. And I really like this new regeneration with the plus affix on the chest piece. It's just so. Do you think I can upgrade this already? Because I really want to see if I can get a +4. Oh, I need. It's like so freaking expensive, man. It's like 250. The Winterglass, you can farm it from Lord Zer or Zer or whatever it's called. Okay, let's get some of these. This is Eternal Realm, right? So I don't this is not seasonal gold. Again, I'm smart. I'm not playing on the seasonal realm. Right, let's just upgrade these. Look at this. It's like the so it's so bad. Like I just got like a literally +1. Like this is like the worst masterworking possible. But who cares? Like I just want to have like the higher days chance here. Let me get another one. I'm gonna show you the gear real quick. Let me just finish this here. No more money. So I mean, I decided not to start on seasonal realm for a reason, because I saw all these problems with the gold and everything. Like it was already on the PTR, like people just didn't realize it, that the cost for everything. Same with the prisms for socking the items. That was on the PTR, it was reported and everything. They just didn't fix it, and you know, that's why I didn't start playing on season. I mean, I can play the season anytime I want. I'm just starting this to explore the builds and everything. I'm just waiting for them to fix the season, basically. So my gear, again, like I need more attack speed and I need to remaster work all my items, but I need to find items with affix greater attack speed. So that is like the biggest issue I'm having right now. Getting more attack speed. I have this ring, which is like extremely like, this is like my luck shot ring, and it's not good. Like it has like 33% damage, which is like a wasted affix, but it has greater affix attack speed, and I masterwork it twice. So you need 3 of these items to get maximum attack speed, right? So I have right now, if you look at my attack speed, I have 71.7. And that is with Paragon board, and that is with Elixir. So I'm 28% short. So I guess you can reach like 90%. Yeah, Incinerate's garbage. It's like, unfortunately, the build is not very good. I mean, I have the thing is, I'm on Eternal Realm, so I have 4 different Sorgs. Like I have one from every season, basically. So yeah, don't the attack power doesn't mean anything, honestly. And if you look at your attack power, it's also in town, it doesn't work properly, so you have to go either to the training dummy or inside the dungeon. I'm playing at accelerating aspect. So basically with this build, you need to get the absolute maximum attack speed you can possibly get. Because, you know, in any other build you can say basically, well, 30% damage is the same then 30% attack speed, right? I mean, roughly. It's not exactly like this because, you know, attack speed is basically its own multiplier. But you could probably say like 30% attack speed equals 50% damage or something like that in a regular build. So you wouldn't go out of your way to get every last bit of attack speed. Instead, you would just, you know, get the damage, which is like way easier to get. But in this build, every attack spawns conjurations, and the conjurations stack the conjuration mastery, which gives you more damage. So basically you double dip with damage, and also the conjurations fire more frozen orbs on lucky hit. So this build basically like triple dips basically on attack speed. That's why it's so important for this build. See? Sometimes you get lucky. I mean, the amulet can drop everywhere, but I also target farmed it. So I built the Blizzard build, and then I made 2, like, Tormented Lord Zers, and it, like, dropped on the first one in a decent roll. I mean, I don't have the best roll, but it's okay. I have exactly the middle. And I guess, you know, exactly the middle is good enough. So I think at this point I have enough stagger, I can switch actually to Frozen Orb Enchantment. I think it's it feels stronger. Especially with the higher chance on my stuff now to cast more Frozen Orbs. This dungeon is terrible. No, I don't have a macro. I have to press the button until my fingers die. I should get one though. I don't know if that's like legal. In a boss fight it's easier because I can just hold the button. But the problem is if you hold the button you're not gonna move. So it's a little difficult, I feel like. Technically, I don't know, I will push a little bit later, but I want to upgrade some of my gear. Wait, what? Where am I going? Eh? Am I stupid? Oh, at the very beginning. Come on. Come on, Blizzard. Don't do this to me. I don't have good cooldown reduction. That's one more thing I have to build on. I think with this build, the maximum will be maybe... I mean, I honestly don't know, because I don't know the numbers. But I think it's probably like 100, maybe 110. I think I can beat like 100. But I mean, wait, what? Is this the boss room? What the hell? What? Okay, I'm just stupid. Anyway. So my gear is like very far from being perfectly optimized, right? So I definitely have a lot of room for improvements. And by that I mean like big improvements. Look at that, special tactics, dodging that behind the pillar. So yeah, with Frozen Orb Enchantment the damage is definitely higher at this point. So I highly recommend. Probably have to mention that somewhere in the build guide. But you know, people will figure it out hopefully. On the lower level... Oh, I have to gamble. God damn it. How do I do so much DPS on the boss? Well, that's why I'm saying, like, this build, I build it a different way. And I only do damage when the boss is staggered. So I have everything against frozen, crowd controls and everything. I cannot craft holy bolt potions, I play on Eternal. What was I gonna do? Gamble. So let's see, let's stash some garbage here. Over time. Don't even need life in it. Well, I actually like, I will keep that. Maybe I need it at some point. What is this? I'm still looking for a good one. And by the way, you can have double skills on amulets now, right? I have an amulet which has 2 different skills on it, but they are both +1. So I'm keeping a lot of these items, even though they're not very good, because, you know, it just takes time to retemper all these things. So now I have to gamble. Sad story. I don't know why I can only store like 2.7k of these obols. Why not just give it like 15k? I don't get the limit. Like, why do you limit me in storing these? It doesn't make any sense. I should just decide, you know, whenever I want to gamble like 15,000 of those, then just do it. But why do you force me like every other, like, you know, X runs to do this gambling? I hate it. I don't want to be forced to do something when Blizzard tells me to do. I just rather make that decision myself. But, you know, they don't want me to, I guess. Alright. I don't play on seasonal, that's why I have so much gold. So maybe I want to try 75. Let's bump it up a little bit. No, Incinerate cannot be converted to endgame. The problem with burning damage is it doesn't scale. No matter what you do, burning damage will never scale anywhere. It's just terrible. It's just the nature of the burning damage that it can crit. And the crit damage story with the burning damage is way too weak. It's definitely easier to play Blizzard. Like a million times. This will make your fingers hurt. Let's just put it like this. Like, if you can play this for 10 hours straight, like you're my personal hero, or you're like a 14-year-old Korean, and I don't mean that in any bad way. Like, I have biggest respect for 14-year-old Korean gamers. Like, I have no clue how they do it. It's like just impossible for me to understand. Well, I don't run out of mana because I have so much mana regeneration from the Conjuration mastery. Basically, and I have a good amount of resource cost reduction and resource generation on my gear. So if you go into late game, mana is stopping to be an issue. Basically, in the very beginning, the easiest way to fix mana is just get the plus mana per second roll on your armor pieces. You can get that on your boots, you can get that on your chest, and you can get that on your helmet. And that is completely gonna fix your mana. Like, this is the same way I put it in the Blizzard build. Like, it's so easy to fix your mana with those rolls. Because they come basically before mana. So you have resource generation affix, right? And you have the mana per second. And the mana per second comes first and then gets multiplied with your resource generation affix. That's why it's like very, very strong. Oh, these are like beefy. This build can kill bosses, but it's definitely not the best. I cannot tell you if it's the go-to build. It's just my assumption that it has a little bit more boss damage than this one. But, you know, nobody has a completely masterwork character reaching, like, the final breakpoints yet. So, until, you know, that has been figured out, you basically... I hate the sharpshooter, by the way. Crazy. So basically, until that's figured out, it's, like, hard to tell which build will be the best. But I just, like, I have just the general feeling Blizzard is better against the very high tier bosses. So these bosses are like the worst for this build because they disappear and that's completely breaking your flow there. On the bright side though, this sharpshooter has less HP than the other bosses. And I'm very lucky with the second Shadow Clone because that literally does nothing. So I mean, that was like a level, you know, 75. Didn't feel that bad. So I think you can probably do like 100 or something like that. I mean, it's okay that every build goes one hand, but you know, they are just wrong. I'm not saying anything against max roll. They do like a good, you know, they're doing good for like casuals, but their guides are more focused on search engine optimization and driving income through clicks than being actual good guides. And you know, I don't think that's a bad thing, but these guides are not very well made. right? They just use the last guide and, you know, they use what they ever do and they do some slight changes. And, you know, it's a lot of work, obviously, maintaining all those written guides. But the max roll guides are not, like, very good. Those are for beginners. You have to really understand max roll guides are clearly for beginners. Yeah, sometime, but that is, I mean, but that's how it always goes, right? So you start a website, which is max roll, you know, you start making your first, you know, whatever, like 100 grand or whatever you made with the website, and you're starting to get more and more popular. And now you probably, you know, they probably have like, you know, multiple millions of visitors a month. I don't know how many, but it's probably going to be a lot, right? So at that point, you start looking at numbers, and you're not focused on quality so much. You'll be like, oh, okay, what can I do to get more visitors on my website, because I'm making bank here, right? And what is the answer to that? Well, just post more content. You just post massive amounts of content. You have to post content for every single class. You cannot highly specialize in these contents. You cannot play, like if I make a build guide, I play for like 1 day. Like I play the build for like 24 hours. I don't play 24 hours in, you know. But I played for a long time, right? And I test everything. I change the skills. I see, okay, how does it look now? And I play it for as long as I'm, you know, I play it for exactly as long until I think, okay, this is good. I played for as long. Okay, now I fixed my mana. I fixed my damage. I don't die. My clear speed is decent. I played for exactly so long until I'm at that point. And if I don't get to that point, I discard it. So here's the difference to max roll. So they will not discard that build. They will just post it anyway. No matter if it's good or not, they will just post it because they need content. Because content is making them money. Right? So that's the difference there. And again, I don't think that's a bad thing. You just have to see like those guides as more commercially focused. And the thing with the one hand and the two hand, again, I tested this. I tested a lot, and I was just thinking, you know, when there was attack speed on the focus, then I would always play wand and focus because I want the attack speed. But now the attack speed is gone, and I have like a huge benefit. And again, I already said it, but a major difference for me is the tempering. I only have one item to temper, and I have only one item to masterwork. And that takes a lot of RNG out of the journey, basically, to advance your build. So if the very, very endgame build... I hate this boss, by the way. So if the very, very endgame build might be better with wand and focus, you know, I cannot tell you because I don't have anything max rolled yet. Maybe it's gonna change, but so far I feel like the 120% damage on the frozen orb is like far superior above whatever wand and focus is giving me. In this instant, basically, wand and focus is gonna give me an extra 10% crit and some cooldown reduction. Cooldown reduction I feel like I don't need, and if I need cooldown reduction, the only cooldown reduction I really need is on my ice blades. As you can see, I always have my flame shield on when I need it, right? Absolutely no problem. I have my flame shield whenever I need it, and the only thing which I can optimize with cooldown reduction is more ice blades. And more ice blades directly translate into more damage, more mana regeneration, and everything. And so more ice blades cooldown reduction would be nice, but that is actually something you can temper on your rings, right? So yeah, I can absolutely... Well, Uber Lilith is extremely beefy. I mean, I think I can kill it, but it's, you know, it's like a journey. No, I wouldn't use Starless Skies. I have Starless Skies, but I wouldn't use it, no. It's just way... This build just needs attack speed. Starless Skies has no attack speed. Can't use it. The Blizzard... Well, Conjuration... But that's what I'm saying. Like, their Blizzard guide doesn't use Conjuration Mastery because that's why I say they don't play the builds and update them. They just basically look at what's changing and do some small adjustment, but they don't test those. Right? So... what I did is, you know, I was like, you know, why would I, in the Blizzard build especially, you don't need your skill points. Like in Blizzard build, you have like 6 spare skill points. You don't need them for anything. So why don't just take the Conjuration Mastery and 2 Hydras? Because that's just going to be 6% extra damage and mana regeneration and movement speed. So why not just take that? It's basically for free. You just got to cast 2 Hydras every 10 seconds, which is not a big deal, right? So what helps with mana is this attribute here, mana per second. That helps with mana, and everything else is just resource cost reduction, right? And resource generation. So this has resource generation, and these have resource cost reduction, and this has resource generation. But it's not even high. Like these 2 rolls, I can probably remove them because I want to change these to Ice Blade's cooldown reduction once I got better rings. And Asus Boots also has mana cost reduction, but that's pretty much it. Everything else just comes from Conjuration Mastery and Avalanche. Now, Tarasha is unfortunately not better. So 75 was an issue, right? So maybe I just let's see. Maybe I just upgrade. I have these upgraded already. I want to upgrade this. I need 250. Do I have 250? 250, 250. You have to click. Where is it? I have 100? Oh my god. I have so much gold because I play on Eternal Realm. So let's see. I'm gonna push a little bit now. Let's see how far this goes. Now, Tarasha's out of this game, basically. You can use... The only valid reason to use Tarasha is if you can get a 4 stack. And you cannot get a 4 stack in this build, because I play 2-handed weapon and I need the extra Frozen Orb casts, which are going to be way, way stronger than, you know, just putting this stupid... well, I hate these snakes. Putting this temper on, so I cannot get a 4 stack. With 3 stacks, Tarasha by the stats alone is far behind a ring with just intelligence and an aspect. If you can get the 4 stack, you get 60% with Tarasha. And I think that's pretty much even with a regular ring, but you're gonna waste a weapon temper. So if you don't need the weapon temper, I guess it's alright. You can use it, but again, I need attack speed. Tarasha ring has no attack speed, I can't use it. Like, it's for me, it's a pretty simple question. If I want to use Tarasha, I have to waste a second aspect to play Asus Ferocity, to play Ancient Flame, and I have to use my key passive to Asus Ferocity to fix my attack speed. So if I wanted, I would lose probably like 100% damage just to fix my attack speed when using Tarasha ring. And again, it's specific to this build though, because I need the highest attack speed. But I think in general, Tarasha ring is worse than legendary items. These are like no joke. And also, I already said it, with Masterworking, well, Tarasha ring basically, Masterworking doesn't improve that item at all. The only thing you can basically improve is cooldown reduction. Everything else doesn't matter. If you Masterwork a regular ring, you can get attack speed, you can get crit chance, and you can get intelligence. And you can also get like your tempers if they are like, you know, the damage, for example. And it's like a significant advantage over Tarasha ring to have access to Masterworking. Because Masterworking Tarasha ring is just going to give you more useless stuff. I mean, you can put it like you want. Like, obviously there's resource generation and everything. And that's not completely useless. But it's just way less useful than attack speed or crit. These are like... So, I missed the Frost Nova enchantment because, you know, I get hit a lot. Before, I was never gonna hit because the Frost Nova enchantment would also, like, always freeze these before I even reach them. But since I don't have that anymore, like, it's getting a little bit out of hand here. No, you cannot get 20 plus conjurations. It's the... So I think you can get to like 15 to 16 maybe. I think that will be the cap. I mean, you could get, if you do Ice Blades enchantment and Enchantment Master, you could get to like a little bit more, but that's gonna be way too much of a sacrifice. Oh, I shouldn't run in these other things. What? Oh, that was the invisible one. So 78 is already like significantly harder, I have to say, than 75. But this is also a horrible boss for me. And it has the invisible, what is it called? Like tornado or whatever that is. Oh! I don't see this guy. This tornado guy, like... Like this, the ground has exactly the same color than these tornadoes. Like literally it has the same color. Same hex code. Also strange because sometimes like the bosses can spawn the second clone and sometimes they don't. And that is just because this one here is disappearing. So it actually has a chance to spawn the second clone. And again I hit this hotkey for the map. I have to rebind this hotkey, it's like terrible. Okay, so now I have no clue what's going on. I gotta get out of here. Ah, there he is. Perfect timing to stagger while the... So literally, like, can you see these tornadoes? Like, is it possible to see them at all? So that's the biggest issue, are these bosses that are disappearing. Because they break my flow. And they have a chance to spawn the second shadow clone. If I could burst this down like without any issues, if it wouldn't be like that. This is a good run. So now he's gonna disappear. There's the tornado guy. So I see the invisible tornadoes behind me. Oh my god, I have to dodge. Alright, that's it. Tornado guy, go away. So my Conjurations are gonna take care of this boss for me. That was close though. So really, like, some combinations of these shadow clones are just like so plain terrible. Yeah, I would still pick stuff over 2 greater Ethic, Perfect, Tempers, Focus, and Wand. Because you know what? I would rather take those Tempers on my stuff. My gloves like dog shit. Again, I barely have any greater affixes, so like, and these are very rare. I know people say they're dropping all the time. Maybe they increase it on seasonal realm, but I really don't get a lot of greater affixes. And I literally can't trade for them because it seems like there's no trading off season. Attack speed cap is attack speed cap, but I cannot reach the attack speed cap. No, they're not rare. Like, you can just enchant it. It's easy. So here's my tip on farm gold seasonal. Just don't use your gold until they nerf the gold cost. It will take a couple of days, and they will cut the gold cost probably by 66% or something like that. So I would just, you know, do Helltides and Whispers until they nerf the gold cost, and then just use your gold and, you know, fix your gear. If you use like if you're on season and you use your gold right now, you're just gonna, you know, waste it. Because the gold cost is coming down. I guarantee you it's gonna take a couple of days and Blizzard is gonna patch the gold cost. 100%. So my suggestion is really hold on to it. Also, there's materials you can sell. You can always sell the items instead of salvaging. And also the boss summoning materials, some of these give quite some bank. Like some of them sell for like, what is this? I was on flame shield and it still killed me. So you can see like my glass cannon build is like, it's getting harder on these tiers. I mean, it's tier 80. I mean, I'm still fine. But these snakes like are like a little bit crazy sometimes. And I don't play any crowd control duration. I don't think the Tree of Whispers bug is fixed. But really, like, do yourself a favor, just wait for the gold cost to come down. And once it's down, like, masterwork your gear. That is really what I would do at this stage of the game. The thing with D4 is, you know, sometimes it's just smarter to take a break than play the game. Or if you play the game, you know, you can farm Helltide, you gotta get your rune shards to later run your pits and everything. You know, you can do the nightmare dungeons to level the glyphs, whatever. Just don't use your gold and hold on to it. And really check those summoning materials. Some really sell for like 500k, I think. I will look at it after this run. Some are really expensive. But other than that, there's no real gold farming. Unfortunately, they don't have a gold find attribute in this. It would be so cool if they had gold find. That would be like good old Diablo vibes. Like gold find and magic find. I want these. They were so great. Okay. But it's still like, it's a great step in the right direction. I really like this itemization. I like how my character basically has so many things to improve and I just can't improve because I don't have the materials and I need to farm them. So that is really, it's a huge step into the right direction. All right. Let's see. Oh. Ah. Let's restart this. So tier 80 is still looking doable. That's basically, you know, as long as I can get the boss down within 3 stagger phases. What? What killed me? Was it the guy? Wait, am I at the point where I cannot face tank the boss anymore? One second. I really don't want to go for like defenses here. I want to keep my rubies, my topaz in my gear. Okay, maybe I should dodge this big axe swirl he does. A little hard to see because the ground is like completely full with frozen orbs though. Wait, there was just like a random shadow clone. Okay, that's the next one. So you gotta pay way more attention to those shadow clones than to the bosses. Oh my god, I gotta dodge this. So see, I didn't kill it with my third stagger. I got an issue. Because now like the arena is full of garbage. And it's very hard to deal with these. To use like the whole environment here to dodge like projectiles left and right. Where am I going? Right, this looks like a good spot. But I mean, these boss fights, you know, that's how it's supposed to be, right? You're not supposed to be a barb one-shotting this. You're supposed to fight like this. It shouldn't be like as easy as, you know, killing the bosses. I mean, this was obviously my own fault because I was just too slow killing it, but, you know, after that, the boss fight gets interesting. Would be better, though, if they wouldn't one-shot. Look at this. Greatest garbage. Yeah, the planner is up to date. No, mana's not coming from Paragon. If you're having mana issues, you can always try to get Frigid Breeze from your skill tree. And again, get these mana per second attributes. Try to get resource cost reduction and resource generation on gear. That's the best advice I can give you. Do I have 250 now? 250, 250. What? This takes forever. Jesus. I also have a planner for the Blizzard build, yeah. All my planners are linked in the build guides. Wait, so where are we? 83? Let's go. I think I'm gonna hit a brick wall very soon here with the bosses. That was already like bad, but that was a terrible boss. So if I get... I don't know, depends. But I think I'm pretty much... I mean, I can get a little higher. But I need better gear. And I think it's not like... it's not that bad, actually. Like, I think 82 is not very, very low. I mean, I'm not a barb, which I cannot one-shot bosses. If I could one-shot bosses, I could probably go like to 150 with this. But, you know, I can't. So I have to take the pain train. So I think with doubling the damage, which is still in like an achievable range for me, I could definitely get like to like 100 maybe. But yeah. So I'm gonna stop pushing once I hit like this brick wall and go farming again. So I can advance my gear. But at some point I will also stop like tempering my gear because I need materials to do the fireball build tomorrow. And I'm gonna need like a good amount of materials because I wanna well, you need some pretty specific tempers for that build. And I actually want to see if I can break attack speed cap. So I don't know where the breakpoints are, but basically I couldn't break more than 5 attacks per second with certain skills before. And now, first of all, I want to test, you know, this whole attack speed bucket theory, because I don't think that's gonna be a thing. I think attack speed is capped at 100%, and I don't think the second bucket has a cap. Honestly, I think it's just frame limits, like it has always been in Diablo. But I want to see what happens if I get 100% pyromancy attack speed, 100% regular attack speed, and 50 extra percent from accelerating and unstable currents, so that's 250. So I really want to see if that actually gives me... So if I will run into like a hard cap or like a frame limit or not. Because I really don't know at this point. And then obviously if you get basic skills on top of it, you can even go to like 310% theoretically. If you don't believe in this bucket theory, because I don't think this bucket theory exists. I just think attack speed is capped at 100%, and then there's other stuff which is additional attack speed. That's my theory on that. So let's see. Tier 83. Oh, the snake is alright. But I think the snake is the boss with the most HP, if I remember it correctly. Yeah, that looks like it. Oh my god. Okay, so that's gonna... Yeah, so this is probably not gonna work out. So this is my 3 stagger phases and I'm not even at 50%. That's not such a good sign, actually. Oh god, and that's the worst. Oh, come on. At least the boss itself can't do anything. Whoa, I didn't see that one. So yeah, I think I'm not gonna do this. This is like too much. This boss has like double the HP of any other bosses, this Slither story. So I'm gonna revert back. So if I hit a good boss, you know, I could probably get to like 85 at this point or something like that. But that's going to be it. So obviously improving gear and stuff like that. If I had 30% more attack speed, I could probably like, you know, maybe 90 or something like that. But again, improving gear is expensive. So let's go back to like 75. This build was like, in test server, this build was like 5 to 7 times stronger. So this build basically got a quadruple nerf since PTR. So the first nerf is on PTR, every explosion of a frozen orb would spawn a conjuration. And not just the first cast. So that is going to be the first 66% nerf. Then the second nerf is the frozen orbs from your tempering to cast another frozen orb do not spawn conjurations anymore. That's another 50% nerf. Then the next nerf was the frozen orbs from the frozen orb enchantment would also not spawn conjurations anymore, and that's another 30% nerf. So you get 66 times 50 times 30. What does that mean? 0.6 times 0.5 is 0.03 times... No, it's wrong. But, I mean, it's somewhere like 80% or something like that. So the nerf was, like, extremely strong. And that is not even counting the attack speed, because this build works best at 100% attack speed, so we cannot reach 100% attack speed unless having perfect gear or wasting an aspect for Ancient Flame. So I guess it's fair to say this got like an 80 to 90% damage nerf from the PTR, honestly. So it was way too much of a nerf. I feel like 50% nerf would have been good for this build. I mean, the build still plays good. I don't think... Let me put it different. I think the power level of this build is actually alright. I don't think the power level of this build is bad. It was way too strong on the PTR. The problem is the power level of all the other classes is just way too high due to them having one-shot builds. So I feel like this power level on Sorc right now is pretty decent. I think that's a pretty good state of the game, actually, how Sorc plays right now. I feel like it's a good feeling. It's a good gameplay. The boss fights take a little long, but you know they're still like challenging. You still do damage. So if all classes would be tuned to like a power level like this, I think the game would be in a great state. The problem is all other classes are like 15 times higher on the power level, which is like stupid. So I mean, this feels good playing it. And if there wouldn't be other classes, you know, I wouldn't have anything to complain, honestly. The problem is there is other classes which have overtuned one-shot mechanics, which are in this stupid game since forever. And Blizzard just seems to be completely unable to fix those for whatever reason. Oh wait, I need to dodge the axe, right? Yeah. Oh, damn it. That was too early. So you always want to dodge the axe. Like, I know it's like a small axe, but it still hurts. Oh no, it's like the storm guy. But here I can see the storms at least a little bit. Which is a big improvement, I guess. Yeah, the one-shots, I don't like the one-shots either. And also, like, they have a good system in place here, right? So these bosses, like, they're spawning more and more. So if you can kill the boss fast enough, there's gonna be more and more of these bosses. And that's actually a good mechanic. If you would just change it to, you know, they don't deal like one hit, which one-shots, maybe just change it to have them deal 10 hits with 10% of the damage, so you could mitigate. And, you know, if there would be just, in the end, 10 of these bosses in the arena, then, you know, you would just die. But the one-shot is just not healthy for, like, a game like this, I feel like. Alright, do we have 250? I really want 250 of these whatever things. 210, this is, like, so freaking depressing. So you get it, like, it takes multiple hours to farm the materials to just just masterwork up one single item. I don't think that is bad. I think it's okay, but I still think it could be a little bit less, like 30% less maybe, because you also have RNG, and right now the cost is just so high that nobody will ever retemper an item which is to like tier 12. Nobody will ever do that. That's just like something completely impossible. It's like so expensive. It's even too expensive to temper an item from tier 8. So usually what you're gonna do is you're gonna temper it to tier 4 and keep resetting until you hit your desired affix, and everything from that is fortune. Because even resetting it on tier 8 is that's gonna mean 10 hours of farming until you get it to the same state you had it before. It's just, I feel like it's a little bit too much of the cost. Maybe the cost in the lower ranks should be reduced. Because it's too much of a sacrifice to redo it. Because I don't want to play 50 hours to just complete one single item. That is just, I don't know. I feel like it's too much. A little bit too much. You're welcome. Yeah, the pits should also, like the Stygian stones or whatever they're called, that drop rate is like way too low. Like, since I have been playing this stream, I found 1. Was it 1 or was it 0? I don't even know. So it seems like the drop rate is like 5% or something like that. It's like super, super low. And, yeah, I don't want to farm like the regular bosses, because the regular bosses are like annoying. And I feel like limiting the access to the stones for the Uber bosses is not really smart, because, you know, they are limiting the access by us to having farmed the regular boss materials already. So why do you limit the access again on the Uber materials? That forces you again to do the group play. It forces you to do the rotations, and I don't like that. I was looking forward to the change with the Uber bosses, so I don't have to do boss rotations anymore, because I find it annoying to having to find a group in Discord to do like boss rotations. I don't know, and now I still would have to do it technically, because, you know, I don't get enough of those stones. It's like really, I mean, I think I found 1 since the beginning of the stream, and I have like 6 right now, and I used like probably another 8, so I found 14 so far. And I probably have, I don't know how many pits I did, man. A lot. Yeah, Scattered Prism is a problem. Don't get depressed if I show you how many I have. So, I have 935 Scattered Prisms. You know, the poor people playing Season. That was actually one of the major decision points, because on the PTR, I had the same problem, right? So I had characters and I couldn't socket any gems because I couldn't get any Scattered Prisms. So really, I was thinking, you know what? That's not gonna be fixed. So nobody is gonna be able to socket the freaking gear. Like, are you kidding me? Like, why do you remove access to that resource? Like, socketing gear? Like, that's such a low-level mechanic. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to limit the materials there so drastically. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's the terrible decision, and it has been reported, and it was just a number tweak. So they could just have, you know, bumped the drop rate from the world bosses from like 1 to like 10. And, you know, the problem would be fixed. So simple's number tweak. Now you have a massive amount of players playing seasonal suffering from not being able to socket their gear, and that's just stupid. Like, there's absolutely no reason for doing that. It's just pissing people off. And I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I choose not to play season. Exactly this, the gold cost and the tempering cost, these three things. I was like, these costs are too high. The conversion costs of the materials are like stupidly high. And that's why I decided not to start season. Because literally, like, there's nothing in season which is not in non-season other than the Elixir of Holy Bolts. They didn't nerf Ball Lightning. They fixed the bug in Ball Lightning in Season 2. Since then, Ball Lightning hasn't been touched, and Ball Lightning is still strong. Well, the one-hand versus two-hand important of attack speed is a thing, yes. You get a little bit higher attack speed, but you lose out on damage from the aspect, which is very important if you ask me. I think the strongest part of this build is that I get 120% damage on my Frozen Orb explosions there. And that's such a major difference. Like, the Frozen Orbs hit for like 3 times the damage. Like, literally, it's 3 times more damage because it comes before all multiplicators. And that is not going to be worth the little bit of the attack speed frames, I feel like. If there would be attack speed affix on focus, then I would totally agree on Wand and focus will be better than the affix on the 200 stuff. Ah, I didn't see this guy. So I'm like one shot for these, right? So I could get some more hit points and survive these, but you know. Anyway, I'd rather die. If I'm talking too much, I get like lose concentration, and I sometimes don't see the shadow clones. And also, again, I already said it, like, major difference for me is the tempering, because the tempering has like so much RNG. And wait, dodge this. So with just using one weapon, I can basically avoid half of the RNG tempering, which is actually a big deal for me. This boss has like crazy amount of HP. I just noticed something which is very important, by the way. So listen to what I just noticed. So look at this stupid boss. It cannot shoot through this boss in the middle, I feel like. Maybe I was wrong, but oh god, this is my DAS. This is also one of the bosses I have issues because it also has double the HP. Like some of the bosses just have double the HP than other ones. And then you need to kind of concentrate, kill them. So I feel like... Oh no, it was passing through. I don't see the... Ah, there he is. Yeah, this is on top of me. Oh, I hate this one so much. No! Not Lilith. Jesus. This boss. Okay. But it gives 5 extra materials every run. So I don't know if it's gonna be worth it. Should probably go back to 70. you're always gonna struggle on mana if you don't have very good gear. Like, keep upgrading your items. Again, get the mana per second rolls on your gear. Again, resource cost reduction and resource generation are good attributes. You can, in skill tree, always spec into Frigid Breeze. Besides that, it is Conjuration, so Ice Blades is very important for getting your mana regeneration. So you want to have 10 Conjurations up. And if you don't have 10 Conjurations up, you're going to struggle in mana, because Conjurations are your mana regeneration, basically. If you don't have it, you're going to have a problem. So do I have 250 now? All right, so finally. So I want to check now if it goes to +4, because, you know, I'm doing a silly thing right now, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, where's the Masterworking guy? So this costs, look at the cost of this, right? 250. So a tier 70 gives 40. So you need, what, like 7 tier 70s to just do one of these final tempers. And obviously it's 10 million gold. And so I'm really interested if this goes to +4. So optimally, I don't want to hit Conjuration Mastery, and I want to have the Conjuration Mastery go to +4, and want to hit cooldown reduction. So let's go. Look at that. That is the worst garbage ever. So I can basically reset this now. So that is a problem I have with Blizzard, right? So my problem with Blizzard is, why do you do this, right? So I hit this attribute twice. Basically, what did I just hit the jackpot? But you know, it's probably sitting at 3.9 out of 4, and I only get +3 ranks. So I have a fully upgraded item. I hit this attribute 2 freaking times, and it's a lousy +3. That is like so depressing, and it's like making me crazy, man. God damn it. So I can basically reset this, because, you know, everything on that is basically just plain garbage. And I think you get a +3. Look at this one here. This has +3 already. So I think you get a +3 by default on hitting tier 8. That's just my assumption here. +3 skills you always get on hitting tier 8. And, you know, I have it doesn't make any sense. It has +50 from the Masterworking, +50%. And then it has, how much is the other ranks? It's 9 times 5, right? 45. So it literally has plus 95%. So you're 5% short of +4. I'm pretty sure I'm calculating this correctly, actually. So 5% short of the +4 with hitting this 2 times. So you would hit it 3 times to get a +4. This is freaking ridiculous. Blows my mind. Thank you very much, Blizzard. I just wasted 250 of these goddamn materials. and I predicted that. I predicted that I'm gonna hit this affix and it's not gonna jump to +4. Like, a greater affix drop chance is completely irrelevant how hard your content is. Which is another stupid thing Blizzard did, but they decided to do it like this. So no matter where you're farming, the odds of a greater affix is always exactly the same. So it's probably like, you know, somewhere like 5% per affix to be greater or something like that. And it's like completely irrelevant where the item drops. It just gotta be Ancestor. Doesn't even gotta be 925, I think. So yeah, I have my Fractured Winterglass completely scuffed, but I'm gonna keep it like this. I'm not gonna reset it, it's too expensive. I'm just gonna live with the shame. How do you have so much gold? I play on Eternal Realm because I'm smart. Yeah, basically, well, pits don't drop are not good for items. Pits are just for Masterworking materials. So if you really want to farm items, honestly, the best is going to be Hell Tides. You get the most items out of Hell Tides, definitely. But I don't know. I mean, I really like the changes they did to Helltide, but still I hate Helltide. And it's not like... I really think it's good. I think Helltide is good, but I don't like it. It is not... I wanna have at least a little bit of a challenge. And in Helltides I have no challenge, and the only reason I would go there is to get ancestral items. I mean, a lot of people love Helltide, and you know, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. I think the new design of Helltide is good. I think, you know, the whole the sounds is good, like the, you know, the theme, the mob density. Everything on that is good. I just don't like so I basically want to farm where I have a meaning. So if I farm Helltide, I cannot find Masterworking materials. Yes, I can find rune shards to get my Masterworking materials, but I don't really like that type of progression. I know Blizzard is like all about, you know, you have to play different things. So you get, you know, you have to play Helltide or Nightmare Dungeons to get your rune shards. Then you have to do world bosses to get your scattered prisms. Then you have to do, you know, pits to get your Masterworking. And then you have to do whispers to get... Whatever do you get in whispers? No freaking clue. I personally just don't like it. I don't want to be forced to do content I don't want to do. But Blizzard has been doing this for a long time. Like, they started doing this in World of Warcraft. And they kind of stick to it. Maybe it's, like, good for, like... I don't know. I think it's just more like a company level. So they will be like, you know, if there's, like, a shareholders meeting, there can be... Oh, look at this. Like, our players are engaging in, like, 15 different types of content. And that is a very good social metric or whatever. But I'm just not a fan of it. Like, I want to play the content I like, and I want to not play the content I don't like, and I don't want to be forced to play the content I don't like. I think it's just not a good thing. I think it's not healthy. Oh my god, this is like so annoying. I should stop talking so much and kill the bosses. So this is, I think I'm gonna revert down to like tier 70. I'm dying like way too often at these bosses. And if I do tier 70, I'm not gonna die. So if I concentrate, like, it's not a huge deal. So I have my 3 stagger phases. But sometimes, you know, I mess up my flame shield timing or stuff like that, and then I just die. So that's the third stagger. So if the boss is dead after the third stagger, I'm gonna be fine. But now I have a problem, and that's why, like, even tier 75 right now feels like a little bit too high for me. For like a fluent farm. Oh my god. Because I cannot stagger it a fourth time, but you know, it's gonna be staggered like in like 15 million years the fourth time, but it's gonna take a long time. And then, you know, that happens, I don't see these bosses and I just die. So that's why I cannot tell you what's the best pit build, because you have to define what is best. Best for farming, best for pushing, best for whatever. So I think for farming... What? I didn't even see this guy. I think for farming... yeah, no, it's just... I just gotta revert to lower levels, because it's just stupid, because if I go for lower levels I can just fix my stagger timings. But this boss is also like horrible, because the boss itself does damage, which is like a huge issue. Most other bosses itself do not do any damage, so this boss I basically have to move and, you know, be careful that I don't die. And I have to look for the shadow clones and not mess up my flame shield timing like I just did. And then I'm gonna lose like a lot of bursts on the phases, and I'm gonna lose like conjurations and everything. And then I'm not gonna make it within the 3 stagger phases. And then I'm gonna fail, basically. This is being the third stagger phase, and now the boss should be down. But it's not. And I don't have any damage outside of stagger phases. So it's like really annoying. So that's why I should revert down. But again, like there's like some kind. Oh, I know why I'm failing, by the way. I don't have elixir. There you go. So that's my 15% damage there. So the worst thing of this boss is you gotta move to dodge like these abilities, and that's gonna cost like a lot of damage. And that's why I hate this boss. But see, like, if this would be like a legit fight, right? So, I mean, this is kind of challenging. This is like a bad situation where I'm in. Oh, this was like so lucky. But yeah, I messed up big time here. Anyway, I still got my materials, so I'm gonna revert down. Oh, look at this. 2 greater affixes ring. Is this gonna be the jackpot? Ah, obviously it's not. Yeah, I'm going back to like 70. It's like... that's the problem. Like, the reward is like so bad. Like, the scaling, you just get +1 material on every pit, which is stupid. So it's really not rewarding pushing into higher tiers for just farming. Because, you know, 75 just gives me 5 more than 70. And I think it should be double than this, honestly. I just feel like the +1 doesn't make any sense. +2 would be good. Yeah, I mean that I get it. Like, that's a valid strategy, right? So you use like a frozen order to clear the dungeon, and you just, you know, the necro can just follow you because, you know what, he's gonna be so slow, he's not gonna even see any of these mobs anyway, and the necro is just gonna one-shot the boss. Like, very legitimate strategy. Like, nothing wrong with that. I'm just a solo player. But in the end, like, the necromancer's just doing too much damage. So all the classes have to get down from these power levels. There should be like, you know, also there's like an easy fix to this, right? You should just say, you know what, the maximum hit is 50 million. You cannot, a single skill cannot do more than 50 million damage, period. You know what? Fixed. And you know what, the other classes like Barb will probably still be stronger than Sorc because 50 million is still a good amount to hit for. But, you know, anything which is hitting for like 500 million or like 1 billion is just not, it's just a bug. Or it's, if you don't call it a bug, it's like, you know, failure of developers. It's just, you know, it's stupid and it doesn't belong in a game like this. It is just, it completely breaks the power scaling. Like, it's not the fantasy you want to play. Like, for example, that boss fight I just played, you know, I basically did exactly the right amount of damage because, you know what, I could beat the boss in time, and that is what the pit is designed for. You have to beat the boss in time. Does the boss fight take 3 or 4 minutes? Yeah, I mean, that's actually not bad, because if I want to farm, I can go down some tiers. But if other classes can just one-shot like level 120 boss or something like that, that's just stupid. And they are failing to fix this forever, and it has been there from the very beginning. And they're just like, I don't know why they don't fix these things. It can't be difficult to fix that. Just give it a hit cap. So as you can see, like the level 70 ones, like it's absolutely chilled. So I'm just gonna stay on this level. So this is basically what I can do here. I just stay on top of this boss and just stagger it 2 times. I even only need 2 staggers on level 70. And then it's done. Like, it's so much more easy. Damage cap is a fix. Why do you say damage cap is not a fix? I think it is a fix. Of course they made a mistake. Like, this game is like so full of bugs and mistakes, it's ridiculous. Like, I have never seen a game launch with like so terrible bugs. Like, it is like absolutely ridiculous. So damage cap, I mean, damage cap is not a final fix, but damage cap at least is an intermediate fix. And then you can, you know, then you can try working on it, right? So you do a damage cap, right? And then you, so this is how I would do this, right? And I've been working for software development in more than 20 years. So usually how it works is I put in a damage cap and then I get a player. And then I give him like a special client or whatever, which just logs. And then I would see, okay, whenever the damage cap is hit, I would just do a log. And then the log file would say, the damage cap was reached because this, and this multipliers were active. So then I would take this developer and say, you know, you just look at this, please. Can you look at the log files and see why this barb is hitting damage cap all the time? And then he says, oh yeah, there's like a multiplier which does 1500% damage. And then you would be like, okay, let's tune it down by, well, let's say 50% first, or 20%. And then, you know, we tune it down by 20%, and then we get the, you know, player again, and say, okay, can you play again? And then we look, okay, he's still hitting the damage cap. And then we say, okay, he's still hitting the damage cap. Can you look at the log files again? And then it says, okay, it's hitting the damage cap because this ability has 1200% X. And then you will be like, all right, but maybe 1200% is still too much. Let's tune it down by another 50%. And so on, right? And then in the end, you end up with, okay, now I have a healthy state. Obviously, you need to do this with the builds, you know, people have discovered. And, you know, if Rob is making a barb build, like, you know, the Blizzard employees can make this build and can see why the damage is so crazy high, and then they can adjust it. This is how... You know, this is how you fix bugs. Like, in my company, if I have a bug and I know where it is, but I don't know exactly how to fix it, what I'm gonna do? First of all, I'm gonna prevent the worst damage. So, whatever, if, you know, person X is clicking button Z, then server Y crashes. So the very first thing I would do is, you know, I would somehow prevent this crash, but log whatever happens when the button is clicked. And then I would work my way up from there. So first of all, I do an immediate fix. And then I do some, you know, some logging, some analysis. And then from the immediate fix, I work towards a permanent fix. And this is how it's always being done. I've been like, you know, I've seen software which has so many temporary fixes, but it's still working. And, you know, some temporary fixes just stay in forever and, you know, might become permanent fix. But, you know, a temporary fix is still like 15 million times better than no fix. And damage cap would be a great temporary fix for all this bullshit. It's same like speed limit on the Autobahn, man. Same story. There's a speed limit for a reason. I hate this boss. But it's so relaxed on tier 70. These like literally like melt. This is like way more relaxed. Yeah, I hate when the government nerfs my speed. That's a good one. No, I don't use T-Ball's Will. T-Ball's Will is garbage. Just salvage that. I mean, from the builds I played now, this is a pretty good speed farming build at this stage. I mean, it's definitely faster than Blizzard. I haven't looked at the other builds, so I think Fireball is going to be a good build, but you know, I haven't seen like Frosty Strides builds yet. It's hard to judge. Like, we are like so early in the beginning of the season. Ice Shards? Am I ever going to play Ice Shards? And not Miss Wax Life. Well, maybe I keep this. Incinerate. Am I ever going to play Overpower? Hell no. Okay. What do we have here? This is all garbage. What is even this item? Has anybody ever used this item? Nah. Alright. Let's get some rings going. On pants, you basically want to get intelligence, maximum life, and armor, because anything else, and then, you know, other stats don't really work. Like, this is the only stats on pants which work. But it's just the intelligence, which is just, I don't know. Intelligence is just far superior above the T-Ball's effect, and the T-Ball's effect is not going to fix your mana. It's just not frequent enough. So in this build, mana is solely fixed by Conjuration Mastery alone, basically. Well, 9% attack speed, 5.5. Nice one. So I stash all these attack speed rings because I know I'm gonna need a lot of them once I redo my rings. Oh, aspect upgraded. No, it's not a must. You don't need the Shako helmet, but you know, it gives a significant damage increase. Damage to frozen enemy is the higher damage roll. It's the highest damage roll you can get. And I only damage bosses during the stagger phases. So outside of stagger phases, you don't have any boss damage anyway. So, I mean, yes, you can try to build boss damage outside of stagger, but you're not gonna do damage. Because the nature of Frost is all the damage bonus is to frozen, right? You have Hoarfrost, which is to frozen. You have all the glyphs like Icefall, which is to frozen. You have Control glyph, which is to frozen. I don't even know, like there's like 6 or so modifiers which basically boost your damage to frozen. And so your damage outside of frozen is just gonna be terrible anyway. So you don't even need to try to do good damage, and that's why Frost builds tend to have such terrible boss damage, and the exception there's Blizzard. But Blizzard is just having such a good boss damage because one Blizzard basically spawns 20 ice spikes, and one single cast of Blizzard is basically like casting 10 frozen orbs from the damage, right? One single Blizzard does as much damage as 10 frozen orbs, but it does it over, what is it, like, you know, 12 seconds or something like that. So the raw damage output of Blizzard over the full duration is like 4 or 5 times higher than Frozen Orb. But it's gonna take a while to do this damage. And that's why Blizzard is so good against bosses. First of all, well, for Blizzard you need Frozen Tundra, right? Which is it's essentially a wasted aspect. Because it just gives you AoE for your ice spikes, but if you're bossing, you don't need it. If you're bossing and the boss's hitbox is big enough, your Blizzard is gonna hit 100%, so you can get one extra aspect. And so you get like crazy high boss damage out of Blizzard just because the damage per Blizzard over 10 seconds with ice spikes is just crazy high. But it's same with Blizzard. Ice spikes do like, what is it, 40%, no, 80, whoa. 80% extra damage against bosses if you put it on your weapon, I think. 80% damage against Frozen, I think. So also for Blizzard, it's crazy how much more damage you do versus Frozen. And so if a boss is staggered, it counts as Frozen. So that's why I have damage to Frozen everywhere, because I basically accept I just stagger the boss as fast as possible, and then I'm just gonna nuke it down while it's staggered. And I just made a terrible mistake, and now I have to dodge this. No, Blizzard Orb is not gonna do anything. I mean, I don't know how high Frosty Stride will actually scale. I'm not sure though. Yeah, that the reworking with Masterworking is like so depressing, right? So I mean, all my gear is like terribly masterwork. Like this one has dead stats, right? I have to remasterwork all this, so I have to get a chess piece with greater FX intelligence and remasterwork it. Then my Shako is completely busted. I have to remasterwork it to hit cooldown reduction. My gloves, no greater FX, and I hit attack speed once, but you know, not very good. My pants, I masterworked it. I hit 2 useless stats. I want to hit intelligence, right? My weapon, I masterworked it. I just hit 1 stat I need. The other one is not so great. My amulet is completely scuffed because I hit cooldown reduction once and 2 times Conjuration mastery, which is completely dead stat. My rings, this one is okay. I hit attack speed once and resource cost reduction once. But again, no greater affixes. Second ring, this ring is, you know, it's the only thing I ever found with greater affix attack speed, and I masterworked it 2 times. But, you know, it has a dead stat damage on it, which is terrible, but this is still the best ring I have. So my items are, I mean, don't get me wrong, the items are good, but they are terribly masterworked. I have to redo all these items, basically, and it's gonna take hours and hours to farm the materials. So, yeah. So even having all the items with 1 greater intelligence affix, for example, and I have all these in my stash, right? I have all these items with 1 greater intelligence affix. I just need to redo them. It's gonna give me another 50% damage right there. So really, it comes down to farming all the materials, which takes a long time. But that's why I say I like it. Like it kind of hits the mark. Like the time, it's a little bit too much investment. I feel like you need a little bit too much. But in the end, the direction is very, very good. Like the whole masterworking progress, redoing it, hitting the right stuff. I just would like that you can actually target the masterworking and make it ridiculously expensive. Because I hate the RNG, I hate redoing it all the time. I hate having to, you know, convert my materials all the time, back and forth. I would rather have, like, you know, you can get a random one, or you can choose one for 10 times the cost. So basically just take the, so what is the odds? Like 1 in 25 to hit 1 FX twice, right? But basically it's 1 to 5, because the first one is, let's just say the first greater FX is free, right? It's not free, but the blue materials are not so expensive. So if you're tempering the first one, you should always hit the FX you want. You just keep resetting. And then the second one is essentially a 1 in 5 chance. So technically, yes, it's a 1 in 25, and that's it's gonna take like an hour alone, just the process of reworking, converting, and you know, town is lava. So right, you don't want to be in town. You wanna play. So just give me like 10 times the cost, which is even, it would be a bad deal actually, right? Or give me 10 times the cost for the first one and 20 times the cost for the second one, whatever. Just make it a deal that I can just skip this and I can just farm my materials and then make the item I want. That would be a great system, I feel like. You can always go for RNG if you want, but you can also target it and just pay much more, or make it a super rare drop or something like that. Make it like, you know, a 0.01% drop chance for any boss or something like that. And then, you know, you can target it. Just one simple way to take out this RNG. That would be awesome. Or at least another good way would be like they do it in what's it called, Last Epoch, with the runes. So you have a rune to improve your odds. So maybe you could say there's a rune and I can put this rune on the stat I want and I get double the chance to roll that. So it's still RNG, but I can do something to have better odds. And obviously I gotta pay for that, because the rune is not gonna be for free, right? Oh, look at that. Greater affixes. Oh, look at this. Good thing that it's completely useless. And this one is also pretty useless. Yeah, I think it is actually. I mean, I haven't tried it, but I'm pretty sure I don't need the resource cost reduction on my rings, and Iceblade cooldown would directly, because Iceblades translate into cooldown, because literally every conjuration you have active gives 6% multiplicative mana regeneration. So I think Iceblade's cooldown would be a way better stat on these rings, yes. And if I retemper my Shako and get more cooldown reduction, and if I get these two rolls on my rings, I mean, I can't, because, you know, my rings are tempered, so I cannot put anything on this ring. This ring is, like, not debatable. I need the attack speed. But this ring I can redo. I can use another ring, do the whole tempering progress again, and then get the other stat. No big deal. This one is kind of fixed. This one I can redo, but this one I don't redo is essentially good. So yeah, it is a journey. That's why I say you have to farm this materials, and it takes a long time. Now, Sorc has been terrible every single season since season 2. The only thing Sorc was good for the Gauntlet, because it's like fast. But besides that, Sorc, even in season 2, I mean, Sorc wasn't the best, but it was good, but just because it had a completely bugged ball lightning. Besides that, Sorc has always been probably the lowest. Honestly, I think from an endgame perspective, especially how Blizzard is scaling their endgame now, which is all about bossing, Sorc is the worst class by very, very far. I think we are like 100% at least behind the other classes. You know, we're probably like 200% behind Barb and Necromancer, and maybe 100% behind the other classes, damage-wise. Because we simply don't have any super 1 billion whatever damage stuff. It's all RNG. And you cannot get the percentage to roll higher because you cannot retemper the items. And that would also be a great thing, by the way, if they made the tempering like the enchanting, so I can decide if I want to keep the old stat or not. Because right now, it would be way too much of a risk, so I always... Wait, so if I would want to retemper my stuff, I cannot do it with my current one, I have to take a new one. Because otherwise the risk of, you know, bricking my old one would be way too large. Right, so if I take my stuff, like, you know, so if I take this stuff, will I die when these hit me? I don't know. So if I take my stuff here, right, it has only 46 out of 56 frozen orbs, so the roll is actually bad. So I could retemper this, I have 2 tempers left on this, but I cannot do it because I risk bricking this item, so I have to take a new one. And I feel like the items with greater affixes are already so rare, and, you know, the chance that you completely brick them with tempering, at least, you know, there should be like a rare material or expensive material to reset the tempering or something like that, so I can, you know, the item journey ends when your item is bricked, basically. Right, so if my item is bricked, there's no more item journey, even though Blizzard wants my item to have a journey. A bricked item will not have a journey. So... But again, like, there's many ways to improve these systems, and I think it's a good start. I think it's not at the end, not even remotely. There's a long way to go for this itemization system. But, you know, it's like 15 million times better than the old one, like. No, now I mean tempering. Not masterworking. Masterworking I can redo. Masterworking is just annoying process, but, you know, if I have enough resources, I can get the perfect masterworking theoretically on any item. But for tempering, so let's say you have a 3 out of 3 greater affix item, right? You have the Holy Grail item. And you know what? You want to temper Frozen Orb. You want to play Frozen Orb and you want to temper cast additional Frozen Orbs on it, right? Holy Grail item. And you don't hit it. Your item is bricked. So you have the 3 out of 3 greater affix Holy Grail item. But, you know, if you're, like... It's not even bad luck, honestly, because it's, you know, there's 5 tempering affixes and you gotta hit 1. So, theoretically, you know, there's a very high chance that you will fail that. Like, that the item will completely brick. And I feel like there should be a way to reset the tempering, to regain the tempering potential. Even though, obviously, I understand that the Holy Grail item with the Holy Grail tempering is the Holy Grail of all Holy Grails of whatever. I get it, but I think that's way too much of an investment. I think the seasons of Diablo are so short-lived, so even if you play all day for the entire season, you will probably maybe find 1 or 2, maybe 3 items with 3 perfect greater affixes, and then you have to temper it and hit the perfect item. I think, you know, the time is just not there to even make this, so I think there should be something to get at least the very high tiers of these items a little bit more achievable. Like, for example, Last Epoch does it with the runes, and you have actually a pretty good chance getting the highest tier items, and, you know, they have like the unique slamming and stuff like that, which is also like pretty RNG. But still, the RNG is kind of controllable. Yeah, cost risk, like the risk is like 100, and, you know, it is like the risk is extremely high, and so it's not even the question if the risk is high, because for the tempering, like, this is especially for a weapon now, right? So for a weapon, you have to hit a certain affix or your item is bricked. For another item, you know, you can still settle for a bad one. So for example, if you temper damage on your weapon, you can settle for 3 different things, and they're all good. Maybe it's not the perfect one, but you know what? 80% damage is maybe not as good as 120, but you know what? 80% damage is still okay. But if you don't hit the Frozen Orb stat, your item is bricked. So you need that for this build. So it's really, really... I don't know. I think resetting tempering would be great. It can be very, very expensive, but it should be there. Or again, at least, you could also do... if you do the tempering, like the enchanting, that you can keep the old affix, that would be a huge improvement, and I don't think that would hurt the game at all, actually. I think that would just be way better of a system. And yeah, I guess probably the best would be like this kind of rune system that you can, if you temper, you can choose 1 affix to give it a boost, so the chance is double. So if you have 5 on there, your odds are like 2 in 5 instead of 1 in 5. Because 1 in 5 of a chance to temper your 1 in a million item is just way too low. Like, by all the love for RNG, that odds are too low. Because, you know, technically you're gonna hit it with one of the 5, but you know what? In reality, it's probably not happening. So, and then you temper the stuff. So I had a really good stuff, right? I did it before the stream. I had a really good stuff with greater affix, intelligence, and max roll vulnerable damage. And I wanted to temper Frozen Orb in it, and guess what happened? I got 5 times Blizzard damage in a row. So, is that good? I don't know. I think it's stupid. I mean, obviously it's RNG, but I would just like to have a little bit of a control. I like this Shadow Clone. It's like literally doing nothing. It's like jackpot. Masterworking you want to reset because you basically every force rank of Masterwork, if you look at these items, right? So you no, look, the blue one. So attack speed is blue, damage to frozen is blue. So every force rank is gonna add 25% to a random one. So, and you can reset it and redo it so you hit the right affixes. That's why you want to reset Masterworking. And with tempering, it's basically exactly the same, just you cannot reset it. Yeah, maybe also you could scale rerolls with number of greater affixes. So let's say 0 greater affixes has 5 rerolls, 1 greater affix has 7 rerolls, 2 greater affixes has 9 rerolls, and maybe, you know, 3 greater affixes has 10 rerolls or something like that. So that would be actually pretty much the same than, you know, allowing to, you know, give 50% boost to like one certain affix. But yeah, 5 is very low because just the recipes just have so many affixes. They just have so many. Like if they all would be like 3, for example, but lots of them are 5, others are 4, some are only 3, and it's like so random. And a 1 in 5 is just terrible odds. Like, you know, in real life, nobody would do it, right? If you would be like, I don't know, like, either you're like filthy rich, but normally you wouldn't go for like 1 in 5 odds, no matter what it is, right? You would just, you know, screw it, I'm not gonna do it, unless you're filthy rich. And right now, at least, nobody is filthy rich in, like, materials. And a 3 out of 3 greater... Like, even a 2 greater affix item is so freaking rare. Like, I find one, like, every 2 hours or maybe so. And then, you know, it's obviously gonna be garbage every single time, but... You ran it 30 times? That's, like, so unlucky, man. Yeah, I mean, also, I mean, I don't see the point in adjusting the cost. Like, I just see remove the RNG. I hate re-rolling. Like, it's just annoying. It takes too much time. It's... What's the point? Like, if technically the odds of re-rolling are 1... Like, just make it the first tier, right? So let's just take the first tier as an example. So... I have to reroll the first tier 5 times to get the stat I want. Like, technically. Let's say I want to hit 2 times the same affix with Masterworking. Right? Which is a reasonable strategy, because you're not gonna hit the third one. Like, that's gonna be RNG. But the first 2 are fairly inexpensive. So, if you want to hit the first 2, the first one is gonna be 1 in 5. So why not give me the option either gamble or give me 5 times the money and just give it with 1 click. So it's not going to change anything, but it's just going to save me a lot of time and a lot of stress. And then maybe, you know, you don't have to do it at the second one, but if you would do it at the first iteration at least, you would save me like so much annoying stuff. And yeah, I messed up my flame shield there. So you would save me like so much annoying re-rolling of the first tier, because I would have to do it 25 times. Like, technically, statistically, if I want to hit 2 times the same, the first and the second one, I have to re-roll it 25 times, statistically. So, It doesn't even mean I get it in 25 times. It's just statistically it takes 25 attempts. And, you know, that's gonna take an hour. It's gonna take me a full hour to reroll my items. And that's just too long. I don't have one, unfortunately. I only have one. But I play on Eternal Realm anyway, so... Yeah, exactly. I have to like stash a lot of items just to have backup. So, for example, if I decide now to let's say I want to make a new ring, right? So I have this ring here with attack speed, and let's say I want to make a new one. Then I have like 15 rings in my stash. I just save them because I could potentially brick my good one. So I have to, you know, I have to get backup items just to be able to craft them. That's like crazy actually. Like, yeah, the build guide for this is in the description. But again, like, you know, I don't want to complain about this. It's just like, you know, the system has got to evolve. And I'm pretty sure it will evolve. They're not gonna let it stay like this. So, again, it's a great start for a new system. Would I have wished that they skipped this whole RNG story in the first place and just make it a little bit more accessible? Like, even for casuals, right? I mean, if a casual player... So, let's say you're a casual player, right? And you know, you watch my build guide and it says, all right, you need to hit the greater affix, or you need to hit the attack speed affix for this build to work. And then you're a casual, you're going and you're like, okay, let me try it. So, casual guy farming pit for like 2 hours, having enough materials, and then he takes his 2 little rings with his attack speed and starts tempering, and after tempering, he burns through all the materials he just, you know, earned in like farming pit for like 2 hours, and he didn't hit this affix a single time. What do you think happens to like little casual guy? Little casual guy being, well, this is garbage. I'm just gonna do like random stuff, and I'm not gonna try to engage with the system. I'm just gonna take the random and just gonna upgrade the item because, you know, there's more dots counting up on the item and it gets a little bit more powerful. But I'm not gonna even try to hit because it's gonna be too expensive. Like, if you're the casual dad with like 15 kids and you farm 2 hours pit and then you try to upgrade your item and in the end you're exactly at the same point where you have been before, you know what? You would have rather played with your kids, right? So that's why I say RNG is like a double-edged sword. It is great for... No, I don't think it's great for anyone. I don't think this game... I don't think... Like... I don't know. I think RNG was good in like, you know... 1989. But I think we are over RNG. Like, crafting in like games has been so much of calculations and stuff like that. It has been like so specialized. And... just giving me like a pure RNG based system is just not gonna be... I feel like it's not like... I don't know. Doesn't belong there. A little bit of RNG is good, but not everything. No, the Shako doesn't solve your mana problems. We farmed enough to get 5 kids, you can farm anything. Yeah, probably true. So if you're playing Wand and Focus, your Frozen Orb is gonna hit for 1 mil. If you're playing 2 and your Frozen Orb is gonna hit for 3. That's the story. Yeah, you can easy solo tormented bosses. You can also check the guide video in the description. I'm doing one of those. I could do one right now, but you know. I want to do the other one, so I don't want to waste my materials. But I don't need to farm any specific item. So I think the next build I want to do is like Fireball. But I don't want to farm the bosses too early because I still have the odds of finding these items the regular way. And I don't want to waste my materials because these are like super, super rare. So I really want to wait until I'm in desperate need of a unique item before I farm those tormented bosses. Because I cannot stand farming the bosses, the untormented version. It's just like... again, I don't like farming low challenge content. So I don't want to... especially with the boss farming, I don't know if that's just... I didn't try it in a group, I just tried it solo. But you cannot teleport to town and reset anymore. It's going to close your town portal. And that's like the most annoying change ever because, you know, farming bosses now, you have to teleport out of the dungeon and then reset and click the entrance again. And it's so annoying, I can't deal with it. I can't do it. I'm just refusing. I already refused to farm Uber Uniques in the past seasons and I'm still refusing to do these brain dead farming sessions. Like, Blizzard has to put the goddamn summoning altar. Like, if the boss is dead, just respawn the altar, let me freaking click it again. Like, there's no fucking reason to reset the dungeon and go through the dungeon again to resummon the boss. It's just like... It's just mind-blowing how bad that is. I've never seen such a garbage in any game. Like, literally, it's like... It's like so terrible. It is mind-blowing. And it's for completely no reason. Like, it is just a terrible experience having to run through the dungeon to summon the boss. It's a terrible experience having to reset the dungeon to resummon the boss. What the hell was this guy? And it's for absolutely no reason. Just let the altar in the room and let me freaking summon the boss like 15 times in a row if I want to. I mean, you're limiting me with the summoning materials. Why are you like further limiting me having to walk to this boss every single time again? It's just, I don't know. Like, if I would design something like that for my boss, I would instantly get fired. It would be like, are you freaking crazy? Nobody wants to like walk into this dungeon again. Just, you know, have them resummon it. Like, are you brain dead? Like, it's not even a question. Like, it's just like mind-blowingly bad. Oh my god, I hate this one. Yeah, exactly. No, it's even worse. It's like D2. Well, D2, you're making a new game to farm Mephisto, but, you know, that was the game then. But, if you would do reach D2 now, well, in single player, at least you would keep the map, right? So in D2 online mode, it would be much worse because even the map would reset. So it would be even worse than that. Well, in D3 the map resets as well, obviously, but yeah, it's essentially the same story. But what's the release date of D2? Like 2004? Is it like 20 years ago, somewhere around that? Maybe even longer? Could it be towards like 2000? The early 2000s even? I don't know. Like, that game is very, very old. So... But yeah, like the whole summoning story, like, it's making me crazy. Yeah, so it's like actually 24 freaking years. GoldenEye was like an awesome game. I mean, I had it on like Super Nintendo. That game was dope. But yeah, I mean, these fixes, like, this is not like an impossible fix, but you know, I don't know why they are not working on these things, because, you know, they work on other stuff, obviously, to make like seasonal quest lines, and, you know, I understand why they do it. I'm just saying, like, if the expansion comes and I still have to, like, reset the dungeon to redo a boss, I'm just gonna be, you know what, I'm still not gonna do these bosses. And, you know, at least I have the tormented bosses, so that's kind of a fix, because, you know, they drop 5 times the items, so I have to only do it, like, once, and, like, I only have to do 1/5 of the travel time, and then I kill the boss and get 5 times the items. So it's like a soft fix for the problem. Yeah, Blizzard is stronger for bosses, definitely. Swords on control aspect. Well, I don't play control aspect because it has the same damage than the other ones, and the others have a little bit more uptime. If I had a third aspect slot, I would use control, but I only have 2 aspect slots for damage. So I use Shredding Blades and Storm Swell because they have a little bit better uptime. This boss, I think, has the most HP out of all. I'm just thinking, at least. So, I mean, you can see, like, it's taking significantly longer to kill this one. Oh, that was too early. Flame Shield. I have to dodge. Special tactics. So the other bosses are already dead after the second stagger phase. This one takes a full 3. Like, I don't get why... Oh, look at this. This is the first stone actually dropping after, like, 25 runs. So they are, like, crazy rare. My crit chance is terrible. I would really like to have more crit. I would really also like to play Elementalist Aspect. So I have... Wait, what? I can't dodge? So I have 51% crit, which is absolutely terrible. Why I only have 50% crit? Well, I'm missing crit on this one ring here. And I'm missing... Well, this has a terrible roll, so I'm missing 2% here. I'm missing 8% here. That's 10%. Then I would be at 60. And probably even gloves could have crit instead of intelligence. Then I would end up at 70%. 50% crit is... But this, at least this build only has 3 ranks in Devouring Blade, so it's not extremely reliant on crit, but still my crit chance is, like, depressingly low. And Elementalist is not going to be better than 30%. So anyway, so if you get 40% extra crit, it's not going to be as good as a 30% aspect. But it's especially because, you know, I have exactly 100 mana. So I will not be above 100 mana, so I would have to invest into resource pool. And so it's unfortunately not an option for me. So that's it's a little weakness of this build, because what do you mean by Uber build, Link? Vulnerable damage is basically the best for this build. Well, it's not the best. The best damage is the one which rolls highest. So technically, damage to close is... And damage to frozen are the highest ones you can get. Then the next one is damage to crowd controlled. And on your regular gear, I think vulnerable damage is the highest stat, because you cannot get damage to damage to close on regular gear. So vulnerable damage is definitely better than critical strike damage, because vulnerable is 100% and critical strike damage is basically 50%, right? So I really don't... I mean, I also play Destruction Glyph because I have to, because, you know, it gives me like a multiplicative damage, but essentially 50% of the Disruption Glyph is basically wasted because I can only have 50% crit chance, at this point at least. So yeah, it's a little bit depressing, but, you know, it just can't be better. Well, so this thing with crits is, like, everybody is always saying, yeah, I have 100% crit, but, you know, the truth is most people have, like, 30 to 50% crit in their builds, and you don't see the white hits, because the white hits are very, very small, and the yellow hits are very, very large. So it looks like you always crit, because the white hits are basically hidden behind the yellow ones. And if you go into slow motion, basically, you will see that you are, like, at least half of the hits are actually white hits. Am I getting damage? I hate this guy. Now, no build has potential to beat Pit tier 200. At least, no. Oh, look, 2 in a row. Sorc will never beat tier 200. I think that's completely impossible. Like, not even remotely. Like, probably not even 150. Probably not even 120. I mean, I don't know how it scales, but 200 is absolutely impossible. That will be maybe possible for, like, barbs or something like that. It's just bug damage, right? If you can do billion buggy damage builds, then you can potentially get into that range. But Sorceress doesn't have any crazy damage, so Frosty Strike doesn't do so much damage. It just looks cool, but Pit 200 was not, like, the footage you see from the PTR. Pit 200 was not that high actually. So the Frosty Strides, it does significant damage, but it will completely be scuffed on bosses. So the Frosty Strides videos, they all had a shrine, like an artillery shrine for boss, like all the footage you saw. Without the shrine, they could kill the bosses, but it would take them long. And with the current boss scaling, the Frosty Strides will probably not even be able to, you know, kill a level 100 boss. Yeah, again, 40 million, and, you know, these bosses have, like, probably, like, I don't even know how many billions. Like, these bosses have, like, so... I would say, like, a boss on this tier 70 has probably, like, 10 billion, maybe more hit points. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but, you know, my frozen orbs are hitting for, like, 2 million, and, you know, I have to probably hit them with, like, 1,000 frozen orbs, or even more. So it's probably even in the trillions. I don't even know how much. But I don't think Frosty Strides will do that. Haven't tested it, though. I think the highest hitting builds are Blizzard and Ball Lightning and maybe Fireball. I definitely want to test Fireball. It's going to be the next build I'm testing. How high the damage can scale. Because Fireball has crazy good damage potential because you get free 100% crit. You get free attack speed from Ancient Flame. And you have the new Pyromancy skill attack speed temper, which is insanely strong. So Fireball might be a good build. But still, a Fireball will hit maybe for 20 million each or something like that. So we're not getting in the billion ranges like all the other bugged classes. So we will never be able to get into, like, very high level tiers with the current damage scaling we have. So not even with perfect items. It's just not gonna happen. But again, I think that's okay. The other classes just have to come down to the same level. Yeah, exactly. 4 million with Blizzard is pretty good. And you have to say, every Blizzard spawns 20 ice spikes. I mean, I don't know if it's attack speed related. But when I did this Blizzard video, I counted, and one Blizzard was doing 20 ice spikes, right? So you do one Blizzard, and what is 20 times 5? 100 million, right? So you hit for 100 million with every Blizzard over, 12 seconds. So it's decent damage. It's 100 million per cast. So now take Necromancer or Barbs, like they hit for 1 billion, right? So... Are you excited for the Greater Affix Inferno useless thing? Look at how terrible. The Greater Affix gives 21% damage to burning. I can't even believe how scuffed these uniques are. Oh my god. No, not today. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Look at this. This is a good stuff. Greater affix intelligence. Very good. And vulnerable damage. This is one to keep. So this is better than mine. And I could go for another round of tempering here. Maybe I hit better marks. But I shouldn't waste all my stuffs, actually. Nah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna keep that. This one is... Look, this is a good one. I like this one. This is very good. So I'm already like freaking out if I get one good greater affix. Like, so they are so rare. Oh my god. Couldn't it be the attack speed? No. God damn it. I'm just unlucky. This boots, I don't know if anybody ever is gonna use these boots. They're so crappy. I just keep them in case they get buffed or something like that. Right, let's gamble. I'm gonna gamble this greater FX attack speed ring once. Like, it's gotta happen someday. Look at this, vulnerable damage. Look at this, damage over time. Again, so close. I hate it. So that's really like, that's my holy grail, is just items with greater FX attack speed. That's the holy grail. It's like the most rarest item in the game. I don't know if it's probably pure RNG, but I just got a feeling I just don't get these at all. Maybe they are bugged, not in the game. So stuff over one end because the aspect gives 120% frozen orb damage, first of all, which is base damage before all multiplicators. And this matters a lot. Okay, this matters really a lot. And second of all, it is just the stats on focus are not as good anymore since you can't roll attack speed. The only thing I'm missing is cooldown reduction and crit, which I don't really need. And in exchange here, I get like the higher intelligence and the higher vulnerable damage and the high temper, the frozen orb temper. Much easier to temper one item than tempering two items. It's basically the reason. It just hits way harder than with the 120%. Of course, you could also have more damaging aspects if you play Wand and Focus. But I just tested Wand and Focus, and I feel like my frozen orbs hit like so much harder with the stuff. And especially because attack speed is gun on focus, I think this way it's like way stronger. But you know, I might be wrong. I mean, I tested it, and since then I changed a lot, but they just have to put attack speed back on focus, man. That is like, just put attack speed back on the offense. That would be good, because then it's easier to reach attack speed. Just right now, only having 3 items to reach attack speed is just not enough. If you have an amulet, it's not a big deal. Like if you play fire, for example, you don't have to use like the Winterglass amulet, and then you have an extra attack speed slot on your amulet, so it's absolutely not gonna be a big deal to reach the 100% attack speed. But for me right now, it's an issue, and that's significant downside. I'm missing like so much damage. Lord Zeer, what build are you playing? Yeah, million times. Greater affix in. Basically, the meta is right now you want to be in stacking, so you want to have greater affix intelligence on everything. Intelligence is the strongest stat you can get, except for attack speed. Oh, incinerate, just don't. Honestly, I would recommend to switch to Blizzard, and then you can just, you know, face roll Lords here. But, I mean, you're only level, what is it, like 65? You know, honestly, just give it more levels. Like, I would just farm at least to like level 80. And then, you know, do a solid Blizzard build. That is very, very easy to make. And Incinerate is just like, you're never gonna kill Lord Zero with Incinerate, probably. Not even on level 100. Incinerate is just terrible. I have so much gold because I don't play on the Seasonal Realm. I just take my gold from the Eternal Realm. Because there's nothing the Seasonal Realm offers you other than the Elixir of Holy Bolts. And that's literally the truth. That was close. Almost didn't see that Shadow Boy. Look how this grandmother melts. Oh, now he's going away. It's like... Ah. Alright. Interesting. It is... Technically, it is possible to reach attack cap on this build. You need greater affix on... So look at this, right? So this is 21.1, and if I temper this to the end, I think it's gonna have 24%. So if you hit it 2 times, you have 24%, so you have to do this on 3 items, you get 75. And I have 10 from skill tree, and you get another 15% from the elixir. So that's how you can reach cap. Greater affix attack speed on these 3 items, and you have to hit it 2 times with tempering. No, you can't. Unfortunately, you can. They should be letting you convert from seasonal to non-seasonal, actually, because you know what? I mean, this thing is, you know, even if you play seasonal, you can still go to non-seasonal. Like, really, you can also reroll on non-seasonal. You're actually just getting like what is the experience earns thing. It's just like 20% less XP, so really it's not gonna matter so much. So you can definitely go non-seasonal even if you already started in season. Like if you have characters and resources in non-seasonal, I definitely recommend, you know, just make a new character or take one of your old ones. Like I don't feel like I need to level in season. Obviously, I'm doing this because I want to explore the build guides and I want to make the content and everything. But there's gotta be like a mid-season patch, so it's probably some content gonna be patched into the season, I would assume, so I'm gonna miss out on that. But maybe I'm gonna start a seasonal character in like a month or so. Why not? Like, you know, then the economy is gonna be there. I can just buy the items I need. Depends. But, you know, besides, if there's anything patched mid-season, like you actually, there's no benefit in, there's absolutely no benefit in playing seasonal. Unless you're like into this elixir of holy bolts. Which, I mean, you know, it doesn't help you in the boss fight, so who cares about it, actually. No, I'm not on Twitch, but I will be on Twitch soon. Because I have like terrible internet. I only have like 16 Mbits, like telephone wire. But I'm actually getting like fiber optics within the next month or so. So as soon as I got fiber optics, I can also stream on Twitch. But right now, my internet is too bad. It's terrible. It's problems of German infrastructure in 2024. Like people still have 16 Mbits internet. I don't know. It's like, you know, people living in like in like a tent in like Africa have better internet than we have. What? That guy just one-shot me with his, like, axe. Okay, so I gotta be careful. Like, this guy apparently has, like, a huge swing. Oh, I wasted my... Whoa! So, that's, like, for being a glass cannon, like, I can tank some random hits. So if you mess up the flame shield timings, then you get like out of the flow. It's like very, very difficult to get back into. Alright. Wonder if I should pick up focuses. Ice spike damage. Why would I put ice spike damage? I don't do ice spikes. Oh. Or am I confused? You're always gonna have mana issues early on. Like, solving mana is like kind of a late game thing. If you get like the high attack speed and if you get like a lot of conjurations, really staying on 10 conjurations really helps with mana regeneration. And again, I can already tell you, get the mana regeneration rolls on your gear. If you struggle with mana, get plus mana regeneration on your chest piece, get it on your helmet. If you don't have Shako, get it on your pants. On your boots if you don't have Asus. But in general, if you get 2 times mana regeneration, so mana per second is the name of the stat. You get that 2 times on your defensive gear, you're gonna be fine with mana. It's a very, very strong stat. Ice Spike damage is extremely strong for Blizzard build, because it basically buffs 100% of your damage, and it's the highest possible roll. So it can roll up to like 120%, I think. So it's a very, very strong stat. It's the best temper you have there. And stuff like that also makes Tal Rushering obsolete, right? Because, you know, you cannot temper 120% Ice Spike damage on your Tal Rushering. And 100%, and that's before tempering, right? Before Masterworking. So if you finish your Masterworking journey on an item and you have 120% Ice Spike damage on it, after completely Masterworking it, it's gonna be at 60% more. So it's gonna be at like, what, 180% or something like that. So that's just... that is just alone invalidating Tal Rushering for any build, unfortunately. It is like it is. They should just allow to temper the uniques. Like, I don't see a reason for not doing that, actually. If you could temper uniques, it would be fine. But tempering is just so strong that most of the uniques just fall off. Alright. No. Tal Rushering buffs... well, basically gives you, in this build, it would give you 45% damage. If you can get one of these affixes on your main end, so if you play Wand and Focus, which you can put like, you know, lucky hit chance to deal shadow damage, for example, on your items. And then you're gonna get a forced Tal Rusher stack, so it's gonna get up to 60%. But still, with 60%, it's still gonna fall behind tempering. Not by like a whole lot, but it's still gonna fall behind. I'm playing like super sloppy right now. Yes, no. So if you play Tal Rushering, it just counts the different elements. So you do lightning damage, it counts 1 stack. If you do cold damage, it counts a 2nd stack. If you do fire damage, it counts a 3rd stack. And then it does 45% more damage. It's not based on the element, it just counts and then buffs all damage. But still, again, it's far behind Legendary with Tempering. So really, don't get too excited about Tal Rusher Ring. It's not that good anymore. It was the best ring for every Sorc build. Right now, I only see it in a certain circumstance where you can actually, first of all, get the affix on your gear, so you don't need like a weapon affix for your build. So Frozen Orb is out because you need the weapon affix Frozen Orb here. And a second, where you need the cooldown reduction. So the legitimate reason is if you try to build out the absolute maximum of cooldown reduction. But I don't see a build which is actually needing that. Maybe if you try to play pure Conjurations. I think pure Conjurations might be actually working if you get like a crazy amount of cooldown reduction. Plus like all the ring tempers cooldown reduction. And you can also temper that on your amulet. So it might actually be possible to build a pure Conjuration build. Which would then use Tal Rusher Ring. Just for the cooldown reduction on it. But damage-wise, it's weak. Well, Asus Ferocity is in this build if you don't have strong gear. So Asus Ferocity is a good fix to attack speed, but it comes at a huge cost. So it comes at a huge cost of your key passive, and it comes at a huge cost of an additional legendary aspect. And I mean, if you have to take that cost, okay, because you don't have it. But in a perfect world, you want to have the 3 times greater affix attack speed on your 2 rings and on your gloves. And then you're going to reach 92% attack speed or something like that. And then you don't need Ancient Flame. And I'm not there yet. Again, I'm at 70% attack speed, but still, I would probably do about the same damage if I would be playing Ancient Flame right now. But I just want to do the tempering. I want to have the progression in that. Oh my god, it's the Harlequin guy. So out of here. I am not tanky at all. I cannot take a single hit, bro. I only dodge damage with Flame Shield. I am complete glass cannon. Of course it works. Ancient Flame works fine. You just, as I just said, you're gonna waste a key passive and you're gonna waste an aspect for 50% attack speed. And if you can fix your attack speed with gear, you're gonna be much stronger. But if you cannot fix your attack speed with gear, as I already, like the planner of this build, I put the basic version, which is actually using Ancient Flame. So it's like absolutely nothing wrong without that. So yeah. The build link is in the description of this stream. Exactly, that's like best defense for Sorc is just, you know, crowd control everything. It has been like this all the time. There was one little exception to this where you could get damage reduction while injured together with the, by the way, not working anymore, but because the stat is out, but it was because unstable currents, every like cast it would do, would trigger your protection passive, refreshing your barrier, and then you could damage reduction while injured, and that was the only tanky build Sorcerers ever had, and that doesn't exist anymore. So really, I mean, unless you're playing, you know, if you don't want to push very high, like, you know, if you're casual dad with like 5 kids and everything, and you know you want to play like a tier 30 pit run or whatever, then defenses work. So defenses work to a certain extent, but you know, starting from like level 60-ish, defenses just don't work anymore. Yeah, I can defeat Varshan 200. It's easy. So on frozen mobs, by the way, my frozen orbs hit for like 4 million now. Pretty dope. Like, I beat Varshan with my Blizzard build, like, you know, with way less gear, and I can beat it with Frozen Orb, no problem. But I just don't have the materials to do it. I mean, I'm saving them, and I need no drops from Varshan. Blizzard build is super easy to farm tormented bosses, like the Lord Zir I did to drop the Winterglass. It took like 1 minute with Blizzard, so it's like super easy. With this build, it took like 2.5 minutes or something like that, so it takes way longer. But I have done it, like, ever since then. I've probably doubled my damage, so I would probably take like a little bit more than a minute for Tormented Varshan with this build right now, I would say. Oh, I hate this boss. Also, what a lot of people forget, like, you know, if you're struggling with boss damage and you play Asus boots, like, you really have to stay on top of evading, right? Like, don't forget to evade every 5 seconds. That's gonna be a major part of your damage. I mean, for me, I think I have, for me, it's like 15% crit chance or so. I think I have 15 from my regular movement speed with Conjurations. And the other 15 comes from when I evade with Asus. So it's really important to do that. Yeah, I have armor cap. No, this is not going to push higher than Blizzard, I think. Absolutely not. What do you... Who says that sorcerers can't beat bosses level 200? I already have videos on my channel for like 2 of them, and I can beat the other ones. I just don't want to waste the materials. So the 200 bosses are super easy. Like, it's absolute bullshit. Like, if anybody says Sorc can't do it, he just sucks at playing Sorc. So if you don't... Do you have these lucky hit to freeze, slow, immobilize, like these 3? Do you have these tempers? These are most importantly doing the staggering. I'm not running Frost Nova Enchantment right now. I was running it, but now as you get more and more stagger, I switch back into Frozen Orb Enchantment. But Frost Nova Enchantment also works great, so it's definitely not bad. So, honestly, I don't know if... I know people are saying Verse Mastery is bugged. I'm not sure if that's true. I haven't tested it. I'm running Avalanche, but if Verse Mastery is really bugged, you would probably switch to Verse Mastery. That would be better. But I want to test this first, and before I tested it, I'm not going to switch it, because I don't want to spread false information. But if I probably will test it tomorrow, and then if it's really true, I will adjust it. Because it would be 25% extra damage, which is huge. Ancient Flames is good. Again, it is in the build planner for this build. It is an early version of the build. If you cannot fix your attack speed with gear, you can play Ancient Flame. Absolutely nothing wrong about that. Yeah, it is much faster, just because the speed is just better. That's just what it is. But it's not for high pushing, but again, I'm farming materials at this point, so... I mean, I tried to push, I ended up at level 82. Because I encountered a very nasty boss. So, I mean, I could probably, like, at this state right now, I could probably go to, like, 85. And then with optimizing my gear, you know, getting my greater affix intelligence on all my defenses spear, I can probably get... I think I could push it to, like, 100 if I really try hard. And the last boss fights are gonna be freaking hard. So... But that requires me to completely masterwork my gear, and I'm not gonna do that. Because I want to try other builds first. I want to try the fire builds. So I'm not gonna spend my masterworking materials anymore. No, Tarasha is not the best ring to use. Tarasha is basically very... Well, it's not very bad, but it's very far behind the regular rings. It depends on the build. For this build, it's very, very far behind. That was a huge mistake, and now I have to dodge this guy. Gosh. That was so bad. So for this build, it's very far behind because it's just not having attack speed, and I need the attack speed. If you play Ancient Flame, you can play it with Tarasha, obviously, but still, Tarasha is gonna be much worse than a Tempered Ring. Because you're just gonna get 45%. And... Was it just 2 greater affix boots? No, it's close. Oh, God damn it. Anyway. So, Tarasha Ring is behind Legendaries. Damage to close is similar, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's... You're gonna be slower in the dungeon a little bit, but against the bosses, it's pretty much similar. You're gonna win a little bit of damage outside of the stagger phases. So, for example, if I would want to push high tiers, then damage to close would obviously be better than damage to frozen. But right now I'm like in a farming state where damage to frozen is probably better. Like theoretically, the best would be damage to distant. Like if you're really trying to push far and you really want to like get the 1 in a million run, you could get damage to distant and then hope to have a boss which is stationary. Because damage to distance rolls a little bit higher than damage to close. But I guess that's just theoretical thinking. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. But nothing wrong with damage to close. Just in the dungeon, you're usually not close. Most things die like at a distance. Blizzard is okay for trash clearing, but it's not as fast as Frozen Orb. And it's just because the movement speed, basically. So Frozen Orb, the Conjuration... First of all, Frozen Orb hits harder on the trash. But it doesn't hit harder, it hits faster. Because Blizzard, there's always a delay. Like you drop a Blizzard, you drop 2 Blizzards, you drop the 3rd Blizzard. And by that time, they, you know, the mobs start dying. While the Frozen Orb basically is instantly killing stuff. But also the Conjuration Mastery gives you like a pretty good movement speed buff. Which also makes you progressing much faster. Because we cannot permanently teleport. So that's like the 2 key strengths of this build. And again, I find the bosses actually, like, at least in this farming stage, I find it more relaxed on the boss fights. Because, you know, if I don't screw up, because I'm talking all the time, I usually stagger the bosses and I can just face tank them. And with Blizzard, you actually have to dodge the mechanics because you don't stagger them so fast. That's the thing, because with Blizzard, it doesn't make sense for you to temper like these, you know, crowd control on lucky hit on your gear. Because ice spikes don't lucky hit. So, and the Blizzard itself doesn't lucky hit at all, like it's minimal. So that's why you cannot have such a high stagger when playing Blizzard. if you don't have Shako or Harlequin yet, also in the build description there is a regular helm. So you just use a regular helm within cooldown reduction. And you can, for example, use mana per second, which is a strong stat there. You're just gonna do less damage if you don't have Shako. That's just by the nature of missing 4 skill levels. This boss just has like double the HP of all others. It's like crazy. If you have Ring of Starless Skies and really have nothing better, you can use it. But it doesn't have attack speed, so it's not for the endgame. And the damage of... So, if you really want to fix your resource problem, Starless Skies is a good ring. If you want to do maximum damage, Starless Skies is not a good ring. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Because Starless Skies is just very far behind damage-wise. It just gives you like a 40% damage and you miss tempering. So again, I assume like a regular legendary ring gives you somewhere around 80% extra damage. Depending on the tempering and everything. But I just make it 80. And also gives you the utility of attack speed and stuff like that. Gives you resource cost reduction. And Starless Skies literally gives you 40 and some useless stats. But it gives you the resource, so if you need the resource fix, it's great, but it's not good for peak damage. Well, if you're running Tal Rasha Ring on a Frozen Orb build and you are still playing Ancient Flame to fix your attack speed, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If you want to advance into the higher tiers, you need rings with attack speed. So if you play Tal Rasha Ring, you basically have to play Ancient Flame with this build. If you are playing Tal Rasha Ring and no Ancient Flame, then you're doing something horribly wrong. Yeah, you get that amulet from Lord Zer. Wonder how much resources I have. I have no potion on. Have to fix that. So Ice Blade's cooldown is gonna be a huge step, because, I mean, if you just look at the number of Ice Blades, like, floating around, I have, like, 10 Ice Blades active at a time, which is just the main Conjuration I'm using here, right? So, and, if I fix Ice Blade's cooldown, there's also the stat where you can make Ice Blades get more attack speed for every single Ice Blade. I haven't actually tried that. But with the Ice Blades cooldown reduction together, that might be like... I don't know if it's like if they hit attack speed cap though, right? So if they had attack speed cap, the extra attack speed on Ice Blades probably it's not gonna do anything at all. That is something I would have to test with the training dummies. But if it wouldn't hit the attack speed cap, that would be pretty sick, because, you know, I have like a lot of Ice Blades active at a time. Oh, that was a little bit too early with the Flame Shield there. I have to run. I'm gonna just check this once if I feel like... You got the amulet from the season reward, that's incredibly lucky. No, there's no maximum at Ice Blades. I mean, not that I know. Wouldn't make much sense to me if there would be a maximum number of Ice Blades. I don't think it is, actually. Wonder what happens if I switch this. it doesn't matter if you get greater affixes on Starless because there's no good affixes on Starless. So what? That's the point. On regular rings, you have crit, attack speed, and int, and all are great for greater affixes. I guess Starless has crit, right? But you know, the chance getting a Starless with a greater affix with crit is like, you know, it's like ridiculously low. I don't think there's a cap for 6 Ice Blades, honestly. I wonder if I need this cooldown reduction from the Ice Blades, really. I don't feel slower right now. That would be terrible if there would be 6, because I'm pretty sure I have 6 at all the time. But, nah, I would have to watch the footage from the PDR. Because there you had like up to 30 Conjurations active at a time. So if you could have more than 6 Ice Blades, then I would definitely have to find it in that footage. Really interesting if the Ice Blades hit harder on the boss. If they get this attack speed. But I just gotta assume their attack speed also caps at 100%. Which would make that affix like literally completely useless. Blue Rose, whatever you do, just salvage that. Well, the only thing with Blue Rose is also if you're early game, it has a great resource cost reduction. But the ring itself is complete trash. Like the ice spikes like hit for like the lowest amount of possible damage. Oh my god, I have no flame shield. There it is. I don't know, I don't feel like I'm getting more Ice Blades here. I just feel like I'm missing massive cooldown reduction on my flame shield. So yeah, I definitely want to switch that back. I have to dodge all these projectiles and oh, whoa! God damn it. Ah, that's annoying. Well, if I don't know if the limit on Lightning Spear would be 6 also, but then the maximum would be actually 14 because I have 2 Hydras. And again, if there would be a limit on Lightning Spears and Ice Blades of 6, that definitely cannot be, because on the PDR and also pre-PDR you can get more than 25 Conjurations up at a time with Unstable Currents, no problem. So, not sure. Also, it doesn't look like these Ice Blades are hitting very fast. I think they just hit attack speed cap. Oh, wait, focus. Yeah, I know. My Lightning Spear definitely cannot have a limit of 6, but you know, Ice Blades, it's hard to tell, right? You usually don't have so many of those. So I really... That's 4 seconds on Ice Blades? What skill is that? I don't think there's a skill which gives me plus 4 seconds on Ice Blades. That was my dash. Oh, yeah, that is 40%. Well, the vulnerable aspect doesn't even matter. Like, the Ice Blades part of it doesn't matter. It's just about the 30% vulnerable damage, really. So it gives the Ice Blades higher chance to trigger vulnerable, which is completely irrelevant in this build because Lightning Spear literally makes everything vulnerable. If you look in front of me, the Lightning Spears are always hitting everything, so everything I see is always going to be vulnerable. And Ice Blades are hitting single targets, so Ice Blade is not capable of applying vulnerable other than, you know, in a boss fight. But yeah, you play the Ice Blade effect, which is because it's basically just a 30% damage to vulnerable. That's what it is. That's the important part. So it's basically an unconditional 30% damage. Because vulnerable is going to be 100% up anyway. Yeah, I have the mana one. I don't need the vulnerable. Oh my god, snakes behind me. Ooh, I have no flame shield up. What is happening here? This sharpshooter's like terrible. I never see this guy because there's like frozen orbs anywhere. But it's also like, it has the least HP, the sharpshooter. Like, dies very fast. I don't know if they fixed the tree. I'm not, like, using the tree. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more, then I'm gonna be done for today. Was a good grind though. I have like did some completely useless updates and I have like, how many do I have? 700. That's not bad, right? That's a good amount. So that's gonna be completely enough to make my fireball build. Yeah, I show it after this. It's also in the description, but I show it after this before I close the stream. This last one, this is gonna drop me greater FX attack speed. You will see. I have so much gold because I play on Eternal Realm and not Seasonal Realm. I don't know yet. I think Fireball is going to be great, but I don't know how much burst damage it will do. I think it can reach very high damage numbers with the new tempering. because you basically have like so much crit damage on Fireball, and you have like 100% crit chance. And you basically have the bouncing Fireball, which hits all the mobs 3 times. And then you have the extra Fireball casts from the Tempering, so you basically cast double the Fireballs, so I think it can hit very hard. The problem is probably survivability, but you know, it doesn't seem to be a huge issue. So I have to try, but I don't think it's gonna be bad. Depends on the rolls, really. But the good thing is Fireball, you don't have to worry so much about attack speed, because you get the Ancient Flame. And also you can use the Devouring Blaze Amulet, which gives like a significant damage buff. Also, you can use % intelligence on the amulet, which, you know, I have 2.5k intelligence, and if you get like, you can get like 15% of that percent intelligence stat. So 15% of 2.5k is actually like 400 intelligence or so, or like 375 intelligence. So that's like a 37% damage from that affix. And you can reach more than 2,500 intelligence, right? You can easily reach 3,500 intelligence. So that percent intelligence that would give you like 60% damage from your amulet. So there's like huge damage potential on your amulet. And then you also have the aspect of 3 curses, which is like ridiculously strong. And I'm considering putting that on a 200 stuff as well. Not sure yet. Yeah, I mean, level 58 versus tier 27 pit is pretty good, right? I mean, Blizzard was saying you can only do the pit with level 100. It's going to be so difficult. So anyway, that's the last run for today. So this is my gear. I would say it's basic at this point. It's definitely not good. It's basic gear, and for my skill tree, it's like pretty basic. Just play Firebolt, Frozen Orb with the mana restore on Frozen here. Then I just play Ice Armor with the Mystical Ice Armor for 15% damage. These passives I get +2 from my chess piece, and plus actually I have +3 on my chess piece now. The rest from Shako, so I don't use any skill points for these. I tend to always do this in my build. I never use skill points for these because I want to put these anywhere else. So really, nothing really special here. So just level 1 Conjuration, Conjuration Mastery, max Cold Front, max Snap Freeze for more boss damage. So you can take these points out, right? Do this and get another 12% from Elemental Dominance if you have enough Stagger. I have to try if I have enough Stagger and I can do it. Then that's another 12% damage I can get there. And then you have Devouring Blaze, and you have like the cold passives, no Frigid Breeze, Unstable Currents, and I have Avalanche right now. Again, they say like Verse Mastery is bugged and damage is working for all skills, so I have to test that because that would be a 25 damage. That would be like huge, but you know, I have to check that. Again, I just said it. I don't have spare points for this, and I don't have it up all the time. I can remove these probably, but right now I'm going for Stagger. No, I have no problem. I farm tier 70 and takes like 2.5 minutes, so. But anyway, it's late. So, yeah, it was a good stream. Like, you know, you can confirm it. Did you test it, or did you just like confirm it because somebody else told you? I mean, I will test it tomorrow and then probably switch it. I have to see if I can fix resource. So if I still have the resource, I might make some minor adjustments and switch to that passive, but I want to test it myself, actually. Like, I don't really trust sources which are telling me something without posting like proof. So it's pretty easy to test. It only takes like 50 minutes. Boss is just staggering. Again, there's like a build guide in the description, so make sure to check that out. Everything is pretty much explained in the build guide. So if you're struggling with mana, Again, get mana regeneration on your gear, get the right passive on Frozen Orb, get more Conjurations. But early, you will always struggle with mana. So there's a lot of things you can do to fix. No, it's not an easy test from Avalanche. You don't test like, you don't go to the dummy and you just switch it and you're saying, yeah, I feel like I do 25% more damage. So really what you do is you remove all your gear and then you record 50 to 100 white hits and then you change it and then you record 50 to 100 again. And only then, like all these guys who are like, yeah, now I just hit this dummy 15 times and the highest hit was 700k, and now I put this passive on, and now my highest hit is 750k. So that's not a proof. That's just stupid. It's called RNG. So really, if you want to really test that, you have to do like a real test, and I that's why I'm saying I will do a real test, because I've seen way too many people like doing these kind of stupid tests, which mean absolutely nothing. So yeah, but anyway, so thanks for watching, and I will be like probably on tomorrow again. Let's see, with the Fireball build, hopefully. So take care.